Hey, boys and girls, do you know what's in my pocket? You know what's in my pocket? Do you? Do we know what's in my pocket? It's not a flipping alpha key. God damn, stupid game. Lint. Yes, literally, that is all we have. Lint. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome in. Why does my camera seem to be like way off center? Hang on. Let me fix this a little bit. No, now it makes me look off center. Well, that's better. We'll go with that. Oh my God, really? Yeah, absolutely nothing in my pockets. How are you all doing, boys and girls? How are you all doing? It's, did you drink over 2 days? I might have had something to drink on Wednesday. Yesterday was a different story completely. Yesterday was, I had 6 tons of wood pellets delivered to my house. And boy, oh boy, it all went horribly wrong. So that kept me out of action most of all of yesterday. I will explain. I will tell the story momentarily. Let's just turn Natasha down a little bit here. So Wednesday was Vappu, which in Finland is a day of festivities for most people. 1st of May. We went and I think I finished my first bottle of Prosecco by about 2 p.m. So safe to say, come the evening when I was planning on streaming, I was not family friendly and I was not in a good state to be streaming. So I chose not to out of fear of being cancelled for saying something stupid. Yesterday, though, we had a whole bunch of pellets turn up just before midday. Some of you may know that my central heating system in my house is predominantly done by burning wood pellets to heat the water. Simple system, right? Simple system. I have a silo directly behind me, which you can't really see now, but directly behind me, there's a massive, great big silo where all the wood pellets go into. We have never known the capacity of this. We've had to only guess what the full capacity is. But yesterday, we found out. We found out what the capacity of this place was, as we tried to put 6 more tons of pellets in there to make sure that covers us for the next 12 months of hot water and heating and all of that good stuff. We got 5.5 tons in there, and then the silo said no. The silo was like, nope, I'm full now. I am full. You are not putting any more in me. So we had to figure out where to put the whole another 0.5 ton of pellets, it felt. We managed to get most of them in, but it was a palaver. Then, to top it off, the hooning great big lorry that was sat on our driveway to deliver the things sprung a leak. And we had hydraulic fluid all over our driveway, spewing from what turned out to be the guys steering. I don't know cars, right? I don't know mechanics. I can build a computer, but I have no idea what's going on under the bonnet. That turned out to be his power steering hydraulics had exploded on our driveway. So he wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. A couple of hours later, a mechanic turned up and mechanic did mechanic things, right? And all of a sudden the lorry moves. But then turned out I had a driveway full of hydraulic fluid and oil and all sorts of stuff. So I needed an excuse to go buy a new power wash. And so that I did. To the store we went, bought a new power washer. Actually, the main reason we needed the power washer, K4 or 5. Oh, I went for the baby one. Because it was on offer. I went for the K3. The K4 was over double the price. So I was like, I would have liked it, but it wasn't worth twice the money. So I went with the baby one. But blasted some stuff. I actually needed it for washing the decking. I had an excuse though. That's the trick, right? You need a good excuse. I suppose I had the excuse for the bigger one, but like either way. So I also then power washed all the decking yesterday in preparation of re-oiling it and making it look neat and tidy before it gets too into summer. Then we can get all the garden furniture out and, adult stuff, basically. The TLDR is yesterday caught me up with adult stuff, so no video games were played. Do they accept BattleNet balance as payment? I wish they did, you know. Over 3,000 euros worth of pellets yesterday. Woo! Could have done with not having that, but did you even get us any power washing vids? No, I didn't actually do much of the power washing. I built all of the tools and stuff, and my wife actually did most of it. Did you draw a penis on the floor first? Well, the decking, unfortunately, is not that dirty. It was just to kind of give it that blast clean before we re-oil it. So it wasn't as satisfying as Power Washing Simulator, but, you know, it's one of those adult things that needed to be done. Tomorrow, my plan tomorrow, I think Mrs. Matthews is going to start it today, but my plan for maybe later on today and for tomorrow is to then actually oil the decking and make it look nice and shiny. But we need to play some video games. That said, I do not have alpha still, unfortunately. I have mentally signed off to the opportunity of ever getting alpha. So much so that I'm just assuming that we won't get it and assuming that we will have to vicariously live alpha through other people. It's not a big deal, though, ultimately, since it doesn't appear as if they're really using alpha in the way I would have expected them to. I sort of expected them to throw content creators and big names into the pot week 1, and then I expected week 2 and 3 for them to just throw out a bunch of invites. Now, that's not happened. I'm amazed at how few people I actually know that even have access to the alpha, even after there's been like now 3 waves of people on the invited. I've been amazed to see just how few people are able to get into it. Now, the cynical one of me makes me think they're deliberately not inviting a huge amount of people into the alpha, because the more people they invite into the alpha, the less likely people are going to want to pay extra to buy their way into beta. Now, I don't know if that's like real cynical, real tinfoil hat, real sort of not the play, but you know, the fact that they're selling access to the beta this time round makes me wonder that if they're holding as many, you know, they're not letting many people into the alpha. They're just letting a handful of people who are going to just, you know, a couple of videos, a little bit of content. Frustratingly, I don't truly believe they see it as any form of public testing anymore. I truly believe they see it as nothing more than just free marketing. I've said that for ages about the PTR, that it really makes me wonder if anything that anybody actually does with the PTR or the beta actually makes any significant difference. Not to mention, Blizzard seem to have 0 in-house QA at the moment. I don't know how many of you saw, but there are many listings for QA employees for Blizzard. So they're clearly struggling in-house to be able to test all of this stuff. Cataclysm's a shit show right now, from what I've heard. Is anybody who's playing Cataclysm? If you're over on the, well, okay, it's Cataclysm pre-patch, isn't it? But the Cataclysm pre-patch is an absolute shit show, from what I've heard. I'd QA it for free. Just sign me up. See, the difference is that quality, you know, actual professional grade QA is mind-numbingly boring, repetitive, and you know, it's it's not something that most people want to do. It's not that glamorous. Oh, we just get to play video games all day. No, you get to do one level of a game 500 times in as many different ways as you can possibly think of to try and break it. and then logging it all and spreadsheeting your results and data this and reports that, and it's yeah, probably not very fun. This is why I think the alphas, the betas, the PTRs are very sort of they lean more on marketing than they do on QA, I think, honestly. But did you hear about the bug for the legendaries in season 4? They weren't upgrading or something, right? They weren't. Firstly, they weren't upgrading. Then they weren't having their costs reduced or something. Or yeah, broken. Just broken. Beta's only 3 days. Not much testing other than server stability checks. No. You've mixed the two. You have if you buy the Epic Edition. Pre-order the Epic Edition. Can you even see it here? Probably not. If you pre-order the Epic Edition, you get access to the beta when that comes out, which will probably be about an 8-week testing phase, would be my assumption. Where is it here? There is also, separate to that, 3-day head start of the actual game, right? So what you do in beta never translates. What you do in beta never translates into the actual game. Was it the Heroic Edition or the Epic Edition that came with it? Where's the options here? Beta access with the Epic Edition. So it's just the Epic Edition, and then separately 3-day early access for when it actually launches. So they're two separate things, but you need the Epic Edition of the pre-order to qualify for either of them. Just have to wait to break the beta. Well, like I said, the beta is usually an 8-week thing, or it has been historically, at least an 8-week cycle. Now, the fact that they've staggered how they put stuff out on the alpha this time, a lot more so than they did previously, makes me think that the beta might actually be shorter this time round. The beta might be a little bit shorter than it usually is. Beta access and early access dates are subject to change. Minimum early access duration is 3 days, limited time only. Playtime subject to possible outages and time zone differences. Certain endgame features, including mythic dungeons and weekly quests, will not be available during the early access. So the TLDR on that 3-day early access is get your characters leveled, basically. Get yourselves up to what will be level 80. Get yourselves leveled up. Experience the storyline, do your campaign, do that sort of stuff. Get your presumably your world quests unlocked. We know the strategy at this point. That's what you're going to be doing in the first 3 days. Probably even leveling up your professions if you can. The reality with leveling up professions is this: the sooner you level up your professions, the more expensive it is to do. But the more opportunity you have to capitalize on the early goblin stuff. So whatever you can get done in that first 3 days is going to give you, well, 72 hours head start on anybody else that wants to compete against you. So weirdly, they've tried to make it so that there's no like end game power obtainable through this 3-day early access. But unfortunately, where goblins doing goblin things is concerned, we don't care about player power. Player power does not strictly impact a goblin's ability to do goblin things. 72 hours to exploit all of the crafting bugs. Dare I say it? Quite possibly. That's a chance. Bit grim, but are they continuing the work orders and whatnot into the next expansion? Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to talk about this a little bit more today. I wanted to talk about this somewhat because when was it? Tuesday when we had a little bit of a look at that interview, and I then went on to have a bit of a rant on Twitter. That Creator Summit interview did not fill me with any confidence at all. For starters, if you actually read through most of that interview, a lot of it was very questionable. Whether it was lost in translation or whatever the case was, that some of the answers that were given to the questions on that interview were like, wow, okay, I can't believe that's actually been allowed to go public the way it's been said. But the TLDR on the profession stuff, like I said, I went on had a little bit of a rant on Twitter about this. The TLDR on Twitter was basically that all of the big questions that people are asking. So, are there going to be any plans to return to archaeology? The TLDR to the answer was no. We experimented with archaeology, also known as Azerothian archives, in the Big Dig event. If that's the direction they're taking archaeology in, they can keep it. Honestly, not a fan of that. I would rather it go back to actually being archaeology. See, this is one of the things, right? It makes me feel that they just missed the mark on what people enjoyed about archaeology so much. People enjoyed, like, it was actually the journal thing more so than anything, right? Finding the artifacts, putting them in your book. There was a little bit of lore and blurb about each one. There was a couple of little cool artifacts and things to collect from there. The triangulation mini game of archaeology was not really super duper mega. You know, you weren't going to jump out of bed early to go play it, but like it was a casual, chill thing to do, and you found out little things about the game, and occasionally you'd get a cool artifact or a toy or something. That was kind of the concept of it. Quite literally, no pun intended, just chip away at it slowly but surely and see what comes of it. 30-minute loot pinata mini events with microcurrencies carefully calculated to keep you busy for 8 weeks is not what we want, right? There's enough of that already in the game. So they seem to have missed the mark on archaeology. Herbalism has a little mini game in the new expansion. I've not been able to see this in much detail, so I don't know the depths to it, but Herbalism has a little mini game, a little farming mini game. The question becomes, will all of the professions have like a secondary form of engagement like that? The TLDR answer was no, but we're adding NPC work orders, which we think will be fun. Once again, sort of showcasing that they're trying to turn that no and distract us by, oh, but we're doing this though. We're not doing the thing you want, but we are doing this though. Please be happy about the thing we are doing. Which, you know, NPC craft orders have their place, but they're never going to be fun. They're just, you know, it's just a band-aid fix to a problem that Blizzard made in the first place. It's never, you know, nobody's going to get excited about crafting orders coming from an NPC instead of some random person anyway. So Blizzard tends to think that because people do a thing, they must like it and then often double down on it. Yeah, and it seems odd because they seemingly it's the extrapolation of data problem, isn't it? The extrapolation of data, like, okay, we've got all of this data that says this. How do we understand that data, and how do we use that data to drive what we do going forward? Well, the problem is if there was like, you don't see the full picture half the time. Yeah, lots of people probably did the big dig. You know why? Because there was a full transmog set that you needed to do 8 weeks worth of flipping grind to get. And there was practically nothing else for people to do in the game at the time. Just like the Hearthstone mini-event. Trash tier content, but everybody did it just because it was something new to do. Even if it wasn't really much to actually do. Yeah, doubling down on shit that people are just, you know, busy work. It's not the best plan of action, unfortunately, but If they open up crafting orders to old content for like transmog, that would be a different animal. Well, this was one of the things this was one of the very, very early things that we put forward about this custom order system, as I've always liked to call it, because I still believe to this day that's what it is and what it should be, is a custom order system. Backdating it, so allowing somebody to pick up an old piece of transmog, put in an order for that, it does two things. It gets people those old crafted items that they, one, may not necessarily have access to otherwise, or two, there might only be one person, two people who have actually bothered to craft that old item and put it on the auction house, and then in turn it's very expensive because the aggressively slow sale rate on it dictates that you have to post it at a high profit to make it worth doing. It allows people to get some extra stuff, plus it builds some vitality into the past expansion stuff rather than just leaving everything for dead again, which could be really cool. But they really don't seem to have any desire to backdate the ability to do crafting orders. Mostly because I suspect every single item that you can order requires them in some way to manually do quite a lot of database-y coding stuff. So you think just how many past recipes there are for all of the different professions combined. That's a full-time job for multiple developers just to do that. So you got to ask the question, is it worth?
Let's make sweet, sweet profit.
And I'm sure
together.
some Blizzard executive has probably looked at it and gone, probably not. Mr. Norton with the gifties. My man, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. A banger of a song, like being back in the 90s.
Let's make sweet,
this is just
sweet
my karaoke
profit
hits
together.
again. It's just the karaoke hits. Save you with 29 months. Thank you. That's big.
Is that your wallet?
Appreciate the
Jesus,
subs,
glad
boys and
to
girls.
see
Thank
me.
you.
Both, I hope.
They were quizzed about plans for public work orders to have materials listed with them, all the materials listed. And they said they've got no specific plans on implementing anything of that nature. And my gut feeling is they still want those scam auctions because it makes it look like the system's alive. Now, of course, that's just my opinion, but we all know why those orders exist. We know those orders exist predominantly because people get them, they wouldn't exist if they were never filled. So all the scam auctions only exist because somebody out there is filling them from time to time, for whatever that reason may be. But all that person is then doing is taking that item and then just throwing it on the auction house for free, for free pennies, which is, it's just taking advantage of other players inadvertently. But they have no plans on changing any of that either. Respecs on talent professions, no, same basic system, but just with new talents. So they're not changing much there either. Quality on public orders or a market board for crafting orders, good idea, but again, no plans to implement anything of this nature. Alchemy and engineering are the only two professions that give players some power. Is that going to continue within the War Within? They then state that they want to make sure that the professions feel meaningful and that investing time in a profession feels meaningful. And I added then, well, maybe some of these no's to the previous questions could do with being yeses, if they really actually want to achieve that. If that's just hot air, if that's just PR speak, then so be it. But so yeah. But obviously without alpha, I can't see or do or really put forward much in any kind of these kind of tweets are the reason they don't give you alpha invite. Hey, I'm being honest. Like, this is one advantage, right? Sure, I might not have been given alpha access, but at least I don't feel as if I have any, I don't have to sugarcoat anything, and I can be 100% transparent. I can give my honest opinion. Not that I think my opinion would change too much, even if I was given a level of, you know, if I was actually given some sort of, you know, privileges, but nah. In a way, there's a part of me that likes not being in the inner circle. Not being in the inner circle means I can be far more comfortable about actually, you know, speaking my mind about this stuff. Pointing out all the shit they do and just get away with it. Yeah, I know. It's a double-edged blade for sure. You know, it comes with its pros and its cons. Right. You know what we have got to do, though? Because this is the first time I've logged in since reset. I know half of you are probably done for the week, but I've not even opened my vault. Shall we have a look what's in here, shall we? Shall we have a look what's in here? Can we get a third piece of set? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So third piece of set would be nice. What have we got here then? A bunch of 480, 486, 489, 506 stuff. Vault Piercer. I think we have a good weapon already. What's this trinket about? Succumb to the icon's whispers and become infused with frost, increasing your crit chance. Fighting alongside allies who are infused with earth or fire has a chance to grant you 200 of their infusion stat for 12 seconds. Okay, sounds pretty meh for me. What do we got here? Another trinket. Channel for 2 seconds, unleashing a furious volley of flame around your target, dealing 651,000 fire damage to your target with a chance to strike nearby enemies for additional damage. Whenever an allied player dies, this cooldown is reduced by 90 seconds. That sounds cool. The question is do I just go item level, 10% upgrade, 5% upgrade? Slight 5% upgrade. I mean, I guess the only advantage here is that these are on the hero track. Or do I go... I don't think... This has got no place for me. That's not even an upgrade for what I've got. Trinkets are cool. Trinkets are cool. The only problem is I have absolutely no idea about what trinkets are actually good. Trinkets BIS if you play in groups. This is the Manic Trinket was very nice the first season, I think, for solo playing. Melt every bigger mob nearly instantly. And for LFR, the cooldown reduce was fun. Yeah, true. When people die in LFR. Go LFR, get Razabo with the bullion. Is that the plan, is it? Let's have a look at see what Blood Mallet has to say. I'm leaning on this trinket just because I think it sounds fun, you know. It just sounds quite fun. It's never going to be able to go very high though. 489 on the veteran path. I'm not going to be able to take that very far. I don't know. This is one of those things where I lack a lot of understanding on. Who? Yeah, sure, whatever. Beastmaster. Patchwork styly boss. Is this that? It's this one, isn't it? The manic griefing thing. Why has this got a green bar? What do these color? What's this color coding mean? What do all the colour codes mean? Ah, flipping no. Oh, it's a class thing. Well, this one seems to be pretty high up on the list all the same. Can't I do something that pulls in my character? Oh, I don't know. I don't think I care about that too much, do I? Okay. Well, the TLDR for me is this one seems to be mirrored of fractured tomorrows. What the hell does this do? Ah, it doesn't even sound fun. I'm going to take the trinket. I'm going to take this trinket, you know. We got the Manic Grief Torch. Whispering Incarnation Icon. Whispering Incarnation Icon. Oh, that's actually higher up. But why? I just think it could be fun. It sounds like fun. Just to nuke the shit out of something. And then a bit of splash AoE damage when people die, like occasionally. Just sounds fun, right? Is that a good play, boys and girls? It seems odd to ignore these three on the hero track. But, like, my helm, it's a bit of an upgrade. But, like, whatever. It actually clashes with my tier set right now, which is not a good start. I've got a 493 back piece anyway. This just sounds like it could be fun. Take the Grief Torch, buy the Razorbow. I don't think you can move whilst using Grief Torch. Channel for 2 seconds. That's alright. That's alright. We can plant our feet occasionally. I'm more tending to lean on the aspect of fun anyway. We're going with this just because I think it's cool. I think that'd be cool. Yoink. How will you get a hero track helm if not from the vault with the content that you do? I don't know. I don't know. Right. Cool funky trinket. Let's put this into play. Which are we swapping out? This silly thing. Reach into the satchel, pick out something useful. Yeah, I don't like that one. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Right. Cool. That was the vault. How do... Where's the bullion vendor? Where's the bullion vendor? I've obviously only got my first one on this dude. Where's the bullion vendor? You could have converted the helm into tier. Okay. Oh well. It's done now. It's done now. The inn at the Bronze Enclave, which is one of these ones, right? That's not the inn. Is it this one? Dream Distributor. Here we go. Here we go.
like my wares?
The little whelp is the vault vendor, so Razabo is there. Little whelp.
Be mindful of your time, hero.
Join LFR, kill bosses or two, you'll get your weekly bullion. Yeah, I'm going to jump into LFR in a second. So I need my second bullion either way. So these awakened ones that are 1 of 14, you can just level these up all the way, right? Is that the plan? They just go. They're just going to go all the way to the top. I could have bought this flipping trinket from this dude at some point. I could have bought this trinket at an awakened. Okay, sure. You're going to need the heroic and the mythic rests. Oh well, that's not happening, is it? Right, let's jump to LFR either way though. Let's have a little bit of a looky. Let's start queuing up for these. You have 2 charges, so you can turn any 2 items into tier. I have a suspicion and a feeling I might have used one of my charges last week to get one of my pieces of tier already. So I might not have that second charge. Right, queued up. We're ready. Oh, you still got the Northrend Cup to finish, actually. Oh, we might go do some zooms in a little bit. Let's see how we get with this LFR. Let's get this out of the way. We should probably do all the weekly stuff. Just see, we're in the cave this week, aren't we? Right? Are we in the cave? What's the jam going on this week? Caverns. Assist in the caverns as well as the bronze dragonfly in researching under fire, the sulfurian camps, and the time rifts. Cool. Okay. Protect the researchers under fire, loot a secured shipment from the sulfurian camp, and assist Ziradormi in dispelling a time rift. Gotcha. Time rifts. Time rifts on the hour. Time rifts on the hour. Researchers. Okay. Let's head into the cavern then. Let's see if we can get the researchers done.
The aspects have returned. Guard against.
Let's have a little look. I don't like this new weekly at all. We'll see how it feels. I mean, rifts are just super easy. Bang them out. 5-minute job. Lands on the hour, every hour. No problems there whatsoever. Looting the shipment should, in theory, be there all the time as well, right? Where's Farak doing Farak things? Where's Farak doing Farak things? Over here. Oh! By the way, Grim Tusk fishing hole. Oh! Go get my good boy mount. Oh, why have I gone into the cave when I could go get the good boy mount? We can finally finish the meta achievement. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't play the game for 2 days. You forget things. This was a perfect week to complete the research achievement to restore 50 things to the altar. Yeah, this is one thing I should probably pay attention to. If this is the week where we have every man and their dog running around in the caverns, then this might be a good opportunity to get my ATT Zarelek Cavern completion score up. I sense. That's, it's the one zone I didn't spend anywhere near as much time in. Or, well, no, that's a lie. I technically spent even less time in the Forbidden Reach, but there arguably wasn't actually as much to do over there. Wait till pre-patch when all the achievements merge. If you've done some on alts, it will count as well. Yeah, I'm not too fussed either way, but we'll see how it goes. You might have noticed, boys and girls, that due to the fact that I'm not in alpha at the moment, I'm taking it relatively chill. I'm making sure I don't push too hard, I don't do anything too crazy. I'm happy to just chill and relax at the moment. Mostly because I know that the very second, well, either the very second we get access to the alpha, or we get into sort of like beta mode and the War Within mode, it's just going to be busy, 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 busy every single day for months. So I'm taking it easy. This is why I've been doing stuff IRL. I've missed a few streams recently, I'm aware. I've missed a few streams because of this, but I'm not pushing too hard right now because I know what's coming. Where do you think the beta's going to land? I don't actually know. I don't actually know. The beta usually runs up until very close to the launch. I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know. It's going to land smack bang in the middle of summer. That's going to be the only frustration. It's going to like be prime time summer, and it's going to be beta season. Got to save time for Pandemonium. Well, yeah, that's also the main thing for me, right? Pandemonium is so close. Current actual up-to-date like retail stuff is just chill mode, honestly. What is it? 13. So there's less than 2 weeks until Panda mode kicks in. So not next week, the week after we get Panda mode. Panda mode will keep me busy for a week or so for sure. Pick up the laptop, record your profession videos on the beach. My laptop, unfortunately, is too old to do any of that stuff nowadays. And there's part of me that has deliberately chosen to not upgrade my laptop. As well, I've got an old MacBook is the honest answer, but like my decision to not upgrade it has been that if I have the ability to, then I will do. And I'm already bad enough at taking days off. I don't want to make it any more difficult. What are we doing over here? Go over to the area. What's going on? It's been so long since I've done this, I literally can't remember. It's just pew-pew things. I'm deliberately not joining a group for this, because obviously I'm queued up for LFR, that's my logic. But yeah, the one advantage is that my brain is almost in War Within mode, even though without actually having access to it. Meaning I've put a lot more time and consideration into how I want the launch of the expansion to go. I want to really do a much better job than I did in Dragonflight. I feel as if I poor showed the launch of Dragonflight a little bit. I want to make sure that my profession guides are way better this time round. As I didn't really do much other than just a simple leveling guide for each of the professions. which in hindsight was useful to people because, of course, you know, new expansion, new profession system. I think a lot of people found use from that, but I didn't really do enough, I think, to talk about the professions and how people could use them properly. So I really want to make sure I do a better job of that this time around. And that's going to just require some simple planning when the beta launches, really. And I think what this is going to mean is that I'll probably need to be a little bit more strict with how I do beta coverage. Every man and their dog is going to be focusing on things like the delves and all of this sort of stuff. Now, whilst that's interesting, sure, I think if I really want to get the professions in order properly, up to an acceptable standard this time, I should focus there a lot more. Not sure what I'll do in Pandemonium and why. The content's the same as in retail, just play it for the sake of being able to solo instances and raids at some point. You can do that in retail as well. It's more the collection thing. It's 100% the collection thing. 100% the collection thing. I think if you care about that sort of stuff, there'll be lots of options for you. Oh, that's cool. Yoink. 489 pendant. I am subject to a little bit of ATT abuse, so the concept of being able to fast track like collection stuff whilst simultaneously playing the game. A lot of collection stuff ends up feeling very much the same, right? It always kind of feels as if, right, you're repeatedly killing the same mob or killing the same dungeon or doing something like that, doing something very monotonous and boring. Whereas I think maybe this time around there might be it might make the collecting stuff more enjoyable, because you can feel as if you're just generally playing the game. You're leveling characters, you're completing questing zones, you're running dungeons and scenarios and stuff. I think it'll be quite cool. Do I not have a keybind then for my trinkets? Hang on, I don't have a keybind for my trinkets. I can't use me cool funky trinket, but I don't have a keybind for it. Let's fix that. Why do I not have a keybind for that? Let's just do it this way. Profession guides and shameless promo. You have a whole chat full of WoW millionaires that all got there by watching you, so tried and tested. I'm not good at the shameless promo, it has to be said. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's a cool trinket already. Get Stanley back. That might be cool, actually. I might see if I can reconfigure Stanley. I have not forgotten about old Stan, but he had some integration issues with World of Warcraft, which was problematic for me, which I need to address. It probably has been addressed by now, but
The sundered flame will never serve. Your resistance weakens.
Right, I should probably do some concentrates. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who aren't even aware who Stanley is. So I should probably get Stanley back. He was quite funny. I want to have Stanley in a... This is something I just need to figure out. I want Stanley to not be on the screen all the time. Stanley needs to be off the screen until he has something to say. Then he can come back on the screen. I just need to figure out how to do that in OBS. There'll be some clever way of doing it for sure. What or who is Stanley? Well, Stanley was a little AI-controlled assistant I had. And I had it set that so chat could talk to him and he would talk back. Not only that, he was also the greatest shill of Twitch Prime you've ever seen in your life, so...
My power surges.
He was a better sellout than McConnell. He was. Didn't even need 10-hour sea shanty. Pay my rent streams. Stanley doing all of that for me.
To the endless dark.
What the fuck? Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Absolutely no idea what's going on here. Either I touch the things or I don't touch the things. What's the plan here? I guess it's touch the things, right? Okay.
Void is mine to command.
Be like Robin Hood, steal from Amazon, give it to Mantheus, use your Prime subs here. It was even more shameless than that. It was fantastic.
Grant me your strength.
It was, I was looking into this a little bit the other day, just because I'm a geek on this sort of stuff. And in the last, I mean, this might be unfair to say, but in the last sort of 12 months, maybe, you don't have to plant your feet, by the way, when you use that trinket. In the last 12 months or something, probably a little bit more, a little bit less, not sure. But many of you will know somebody that's blown up on Twitch by the name of Pirate Software. And he's a very interesting case study on how to do Twitch right. Very interesting case study. And dare I say, I am very likely to steal some of his tactics. Now, a lot of people probably are aware of him due to the fact that he was an ex-Blizzard employee as well, so there's a little bit of synergy there with... are we in or are we out of this thing? We've got to be out of it, right? His dad worked at Blizzard, he's worked at Blizzard. His dad was actually the South Park degenerate World of Warcraft player. Fun fact. But he's a very interesting case study to showcase how to blow up on Twitch. Because he's clearly had quite a good audience for quite some time, but now he's like consistently, he's a 10k Andy consistently. Not only that, but he's also set records for like the largest hype train in existence and all sorts of crazy stuff. And when you break it down how he's done it and what he's done and why it's worked for him, it's pretty interesting. Guy by the name of Pirate Software. Thor is his name, which is 7 levels of cool to begin with. Right. Greed.
What is this
Need.
place?
Greed. Need.
Feels
Need.
so
Need.
somewhere
Need. Gotta win something, right? Oh, another one. Need.
raw, dark energy.
Am I getting points anywhere here? Probably not.
Pursuit of power. Now what will happen?
Never
to
lucky.
my people?
Never lucky. Fighting against flipping 90 plus rolls on this sort of stuff.
His legacy.
Oh well. So one of the things that Pirate Software has done very well with, and Kahani's just pointed this out, right? That he has, you can you can donate on stream 500 bits, and it goes through to a TTS queue, and every single person that poses a question, when Thor gets around, the queue's often very long on this, but because the queue's very long on this, he's figured out a very clever way of addressing that fact, being that if you ask a question and it takes him 2 hours to get to your question, because he has manual control over when TTS is playing when they don't, so he can go next TTS and it'll play the question, right? This means there's often a bit of a queue. But what he cleverly does is he clips every single question and answer, and it gets posted through to his Discord, so that the person who asks the question has the ability to then, even if they don't stick around, they'll get their answer, which is very smart. Not only is it very smart because it drives a lot of people to ask questions, but secondly, on top of that, it also drives people to his Discord, so I imagine his Discord is absolutely popping right now. Plus, some of the best questions and answers then get turned into like proper YouTube shorts / TikToks / all of that sort of stuff. It's mini marketing genius, honestly. But it works from the premise of that he's an interesting individual who you might have questions that you think that you sort of value his answer on. Now, I do silly things like play around with a video game, so I'm not anywhere near that sort of level. But secondly, I think that implementing something like that could work. The only reason it works very well, though, is because his stream is big and people understand that if they ask a question, it might be, you know. I'm lucky that my chat is such that it is still readable, right? If you say something in chat right now, there's a strong chance A, I'll read it, and B, I'll be able to answer to it. So there's not sort of like that need for people to go over and above with TTS. But like, this isn't like, I could try and this isn't even about making money. Let me clarify, right? It's not even about generating revenue per se. It's just how to build that sort of cross-platform community feel, right? My Discord, I think, has done pretty well over the last couple of years. It's been quiet as all hell recently on the Discord, but that's because there's not been too much going on in Retail WoW. But I think my Discord has done probably a little bit better than some other, even probably bigger content creators than myself out there, by like numbers, by viewership numbers and stuff, just because it serves a purpose, I think. My Discord now has that kind of approach where people are aware of it. It's a place to go for goal-making info, right? More so, it's bigger than just me, right? A lot of content creators will make a Discord, and it's predominantly it's a notification center for the streamer sort of thing. I know I do a little bit of that on the Discord, sure, but I wanted it to be more of a hangout place where people can chat amongst themselves, and there's not strictly the requirement for me to always be the one answering the questions and whatever, which I think it's done quite well at so far. You guys will be the biggest critic of that. A lot of people lurk, I'm aware of that for sure. I looked the other day and there's over 6,000 people in the Discord now, which I was quite surprised by. But these are kind of the things I think about, right? I want to try and do more that helps, you know, more people out. Like I'm not, you know, if I can scrape together a living by doing it, great. But I'm not out there to become Asmongold level rich, right? I'm not looking to sell bathwater to pay my bills, if that makes sense. Have you checked the new alpha build news? If not, we can check it on stream. It sounds interesting. Yeah, I wanted to get some basic stuff done in game, and then we'll have a little bit of a look through. We'll dig through the new build stuff a little bit. Zanzifal's put a video together talking about leatherworking that has intrigued me. So it's a short video. We might have a little bit of a look at that as well. This is literally the first time I've played since, well, this reset. So I'm a little bit just trying to play catch up, if I'm honest, because I also know I'm not going to get too much time over the weekend. What's his shield thing about? Oh, it is just an absorb. Okay, so we just got to nuke it. Trying to learn as we go. Multitasking is not my plan. Not my forte, should I say. Trading post 2, you are absolutely spot on. We have some trading post action. Zan's video is basically saying that leatherworking is just a copy paste. Well, most professions, they start off that way. There's what I refer to like as the Blizzard default template, right? Most professions, they have this default template. They're like, okay, what does leatherworking do, right? You know, it's the stuff you always expect, right? Leatherworking is going to have some sort of armor patch or something. They're predominantly making drums. That's always a default. They make a little bit of leather gear. They make a little bit of mail gear. It's primarily your leveling stuff. A few pieces of endgame gear. Tailoring makes bags. Blacksmith is going to make your weapons. This sort of stuff, right? The default shit that everybody expects. What always intrigues me when we go into new expansions is what is the flavor that's being added, right? What's the little bit of something new? What's the little bit of change that's been made? So far, we've seen alchemy with its slightly new take on transmutes, and predominantly being the guys responsible for blasphemites, if I remember the name right. Which could lead to alchemy being incredibly useful. Blue dragon souls? Tailoring recipe.
Their ranks are broken. We have won.
A fine victory, my son. I expected nothing less. Yet, the crucible is not yet secure. There is one last obstacle that
oh wow, I banged a 74 on that.
And I will see it removed.
Oh, there's the appearance. I've yet to draw a conclusion, by the way, boys and girls. I've yet to draw the conclusion on whether needing on stuff, even though I don't truly actually needing it if I need it for the purpose of transmog, of whether that's a scumbag move or not. It's LFR, so the reality is I don't actually give a shit what the answer is. I'm going to do it anyway, because it's LFR. But I kind of want to understand the public perception of it. It's one of those where it's a scumbag thing to do, but everybody does it. So I'm like, well, everybody does it, so why like there's taking the moral high ground, and then there's just getting shat on for no reason. It's LFR, everybody is needing on everything. Well, see, this is my belief, right? I know the transmog button exists for a reason, but I'm still of the opinion that, well, if I need it for transmog, I'm still going to press need. I'm aware it's a bit of a dick move, but if it's one of those dick moves that everybody unanimously is doing anyway, I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot just for moral reasons. Gloves off for in LFR. Well, this is kind of my concept, right? I don't like other than every, you know, as long as I'm damaging the boss and I'm helping the boss die, I owe these other people nothing other than the fact that they were here at the same time as I killed the boss. You can argue, yes, that I wouldn't have been able to do it solo, so I do need them, so there should be some camaraderie there. But equally, I don't know who these people are. I have no inclination to ever play with these same handful of people ever again. You know, the difference would be is if I did LFR and I brought 20 of you guys, then I wouldn't be a dick about that sort of stuff. Then if somebody needed something, they can have it. That's the point. That's like more organised. But if it's a completely random LFR, I'm going to press need. Sorry. I do love that trinket already, just purely because its animation of firing the volley of fireballs into the pack is really cool as well. I think that's quite cool. If somebody politely asks, that's always so different. I could pass gear for somebody being nice if they don't really need it, but generally just greedy for all. But yeah, that's it. I suppose if somebody whispers me and they need it because it's a genuine upgrade, I will probably, without question, trade it to them.
Return to ash. Fire claims all.
I'll be a dick behind your back, but I won't be a dick to your face, if that makes sense. I know that sounds mean, but you know, it's the reality of it. What does my TSM say that item groups are invalid? I can't say for definite without a little bit more information. The best scenario to do there, the best way is to post a screenshot of what the error in your chat comes up as. Post it in the TSM thread on the Discord, and either I or some other smart person can help you out.
Store it soon. Perhaps there are fresh Jarden outside you can harvest.
You expect me to...
Right, what have we got here? Did I get my bullion then? I got my bullion, didn't I? Greed. Oh, annoyingly, that is actually an upgrade. Well, we're going to need on one of those, and it's rolled twice, so we'll need on one of them. Let's see what happens, shall we? It can be for one of many, many reasons, which is why the full error that gets thrown in your chat is usually helpful. Okay, never lucky. Definitely decided that is a very cool trinket. I like that a lot. And that was a good choice from the vault. Fun choice. Might not be the optimal, might not be the best sweaty, you know, min-maxy choice. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the fun one. If it gives me a button to press that's fun, I'll take that over item level every day.
Time to analyze your threshold for pain. Can you adapt to studying your resilience to extreme temperatures?
Okay, there's some people who are absolutely doing silly damage again. It's kind of like... I don't know how they can perceivably keep this a thing, right? There's always a risk with it. What I'm trying to get at here is that it's nice that there are big pumpers that are seeing the need to go and do LFR. But it's one of those kind of very passive needs in that regard, that people can come here and do it if they kind of need to or want to, but it's not strictly forced upon people to do it, which is a nice, happy medium. It means that LFR does just get melted, and it only takes a handful of people to just, like, basically carry, which I think is what LFR always needs. It needs a couple of veterans in it just to make sure that things go smoothly. If there's a mechanic occasionally that needs to be dealt with, unlikely the case in LFR, but, you know, it allows dum-dums like me to just roll in and patchwork most of the bosses. The issue LFR has sometimes is that nobody has any need to do it at all. I would suspect that people are doing LFR now just on ults a lot of the time. They're not probably so much doing it on their mains strictly, but the fact that it's good catch up on bullions and things like that makes it feel like it's quite a smart system. I like. I think the Manic Grief Torch is the most fun trinket. It does slapping damage too. It lowers its cooldown when your fellow dies. So on raid progression you can press it more. Well, in LFR it feels like I should be able to press it like almost chain press it. Yeah, I need my group to be a bit more shit, please. Then I get lower cooldown on this thing. Be fun. People aren't dying fast enough. I can't press me fun buttons. Now you got the Grief Torch. You need the weak aura. Oh, hang on. What's this? Let me have a little look. What we got in here? Upgrade not collected. Why can I? Oh, because it's a dagger. Oh, I see. Hmm. 10? Fuck that. What's this weak aura? Reset Grief Torch Whisper. This is a meme weak aura that whispers your party raid members when their death successfully resets your Manic Grief Torch. It also plays a ka-ching sound so you can bathe in their misery whilst pushing the top DPS meters. Oh, that's funny. I would install that, but that's touch too memey even for me. I like the concept of that though. That's quite funny.
Can you feel it? I do.
Thanks for resetting my trinket. Your failure is my success.
Our champions seem unaffected. All the more reason to stop suffering.
I got this suggested randomly, so streaming.
Whatever power still lurks here. We have you
What?
pinned, Sargeras.
So streaming is on YouTube is an afterthought.
Soldiers die. We would rather die
Don't know what you
than
mean.
return to subjugation. The secret
What I would say is quite interesting is that YouTube is for some reason recommending streams again at the moment. It's not something that they do all that often, but I have noticed this the last couple of days. I think it's helpful a little bit that some people are hanging out in Team YouTube just by proxy of the fact there isn't the music on YouTube. Meaning that you can still join in with the stream whilst also simultaneously listening to your own tunes of choice.
Though it may not distinguish between friend and foe. What is this power? In the quest to perfect this is one of our more successful attempts. While imperfect, it will be more than enough to destroy these interlopers. Do it, but our troops are still out there. Their names will ever be remembered.
Right, next pack of mobs. Whoa, okay. Back it up, son. Back it up. Back it up, back it up. Alright, let's rock and roll. 12 minutes past the hour. We're quite some way off a rift. I'm wondering if we can complete this wing and the next before the hour turns, and then we can get our rift done. That'd be nice. How dare you have fun in a video game over min-maxing? Shocking, right? Actually shocking. I think I'm in such a rare breed of individuals when it comes to playing this game. It's one of those where I kind of even like Plunderstorm. Plunderstorm was a really good experiment for me in terms of how a game mode can be put together seemingly without any add-ons, and to see just how the game kind of like copes and manages with that. Because I think this game would be like so different. Even something simple as just like, I don't know how Blizzard would do it. In fact, I'm sure it's pretty easy if Blizzard were to do it. But if they were just to nuke the ability for damage meters to exist. Like, if you were to get rid of damage meters, you can leave everything else, but like, if you were to manage to just get rid of damage meters, how would the game be different? Obviously, we'll never know because it will never happen. But like, just purely as a thought experiment, does intrigue me. Would people genuinely be more inclined to like play specs that were genuinely more fun? And would there be less sweat around? I don't know. Okay, we don't need those.
They sense your presence. Father,
Trinket.
I am but an echo.
I don't know. Greed. Mog. Greed. What's this one? Not collected. We'll have a go on that then. We're never winning that one. 23? Lord.
I assume you have heard many stories of this place and the role it plays.
Can't have hard content without the tools to beat it. Well, no. Because
These halls are your birthright.
People have just beat it slower.
Outsiders must not be allowed to take them from you.
Secure our perimeter.
This is one of the things I've thought for a long time, is that Blizzard have now developed systems that are quite smooth in naturally nerfing the effectiveness. Now, they still get a lot wrong, right? Allow me to clarify here. You know, there's still lots of balancing, lots of tweaking, lots of tuning that needs to go on from Blizzard, but the normal concept of the game is that the more times you progress through a raid, the more bits of gear you get, the more damage you do, the faster things die next time. And when you multiply that by 20, 40 people, there's naturally over time, without any significant change, things are just going to die faster and you're going to see greater success. I mean, I know that's the very old school sort of vanilla way of looking at things, but I don't strictly think that... one thing I do agree, and I do think quite strongly, is that Mythic is way too complicated. The hardest difficulty in the game doesn't need to be as difficult or as complicated as it is. I think the overall difficulty curve should be capped much sooner. There's no need for something to absolutely break people. Some games have the need for like a linear or even an exponential difficulty curve, but I don't think an MMORPG really is that, and I never really have thought it's that. I've always thought that doing like capping the difficulty curve sooner would provide a much better experience for everybody.
It will take a strong will to ensure
Because the average person that plays video games is not very good at playing video games, right? The average person that plays a video game has not mastered a video game from every angle for over a decade, right? World of Warcraft is very unique in that category. Most games don't even, like, you know, an active player base for most games doesn't even last half the length that World of Warcraft has. Yet the way that it caters to those players that have played it for 20 years and provides them content that realistically... It's the 1% argument, isn't it, right? It's the 1% argument that if you make making content for the 1% has a long-term knock-on effect. It's not like they make content for the 1% just as like a hobby to do in their spare time. It's where they start and then they work backwards from that. The entire structure of the game is built around the fact that they make the most difficult content they possibly can and then they tune it back and allow more people to see it. I think it should kind of be the other way around, right? They should make the content accessible and friendly to the greatest amount of people they possibly can, and then make a more difficult version for the handful of individuals that care about it. It seems like my take is that they kind of have the development the other way round. They seem to start with something very, very hard and then look at it and say, right, well, how can we make this very, very hard thing achievable for more people? The 1% argument's a difficult one, though. And we're our own worst enemy in that regard, because everybody loves a race to world first, right? Everybody loves a race to world first, even though most of us are not even remotely in the same league of even thinking about competing. Lord of the Rings Online only allows you to see and record your own damage, so people just made a program which collects logs from different players to a specific server, then it does its magic, calculates something, sends the info back to all the players. Well, this is it. Players, you know, gamers do gamer things, right? The competitive nature is still going to be in players for sure, but this is why, like I said, it will never happen. It's just a thought experiment. We already have the only meter that matters built in. Statistics, gold earned per day. I swear... in fact, it's not... I categorically know. I don't particularly... I stopped tracking my gold ages ago. I just hope I have enough of it to never run out. But I also categorically know that I have spent more gold in this expansion than I have made. Without question. Without question. My net total of gold has definitely decreased. Now I still have probably 20-30 million gold of pets knocking around, which is, if I was to actually try and liquidate and sell some of that, I'd be right back to where I was, but I don't think I should be in that, should I? That looks kind of painful. Oh, you're dead. You're dead.
Secrets that Shadow Flame holds.
There is no denying its strength, but it seems too dangerous to truly control.
You possess the will to master.
Two-handed staff? Well,
Just
Mog.
imagine what you could accomplish.
Where are we going here? This way. About 5 mil lost to Dracothists. Yeah, I took a net loss of about 16 million gold on Dracothists, and I never bothered to try and make it back. That said, that one patch, whilst I lost 16 million on Dracothists, I made a fair amount from like Shadow Flame essences and stuff, so I still took a loss that patch overall, but it wasn't as tragic as it could have been. I was very close to just throwing in the towel when the Dracothis thing happened. But I made sure I made at least some gold that patch via other means. That was clearly my biggest L. My biggest L ever. Easily. How you doing, Jenny? Welcome in. Good morning. I would rather not relive the Dracothis thing. This is the showcase of if you put all your eggs in one basket, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in Dracothis terms, it didn't. The annoying thing for me, more than anything though, is the reason it didn't work was due to an exploit. So I was like, well, I'm shit out of luck then, aren't I? I did. I still think I did the right thing with Dracothis. I think I still made the right play, even though I lost my ass on them. I'm still pretty convinced I did the right thing. And if it wasn't for the exploit, it would have worked fantastically well. Have I not missed the last three? Where you been? Well, Thursday was Wednesday was the 1st of May. Vappo in Finland. Wednesday I was pre-engaged, drinking way too much Prosecco. Thursday I had IRL shit that got the better of me. So I'm starting my week on a Friday, it feels. Yeah, I'm kind of... There's part of me that's somewhat intrigued to... I want to... I want the war bands to come in so I can put all of my gold in my war bank and actually see how much I might have. I think I still have about 35 million, but I'm not sure because it's across different accounts. I've got gold on accounts that haven't had game time for a long time. And the honest answer is I'm not totally sure. Well, WoW thing obviously tracks individual characters, but the problem I have is I don't log on to those characters all that often. And if I do, I haven't necessarily always had the WoW thing add-on enabled for it to track it and all sorts of silly stuff. So you had over 100 mil at the start of Dragonflight? No. Way less than that. I did hit 100 mil in Shadowlands, like liquid. But then I went on a monstrous spending spree. I was like, there's no need to have 100 million liquid gold. That was just like, that was just a target to achieve. I easily spent 15, 20, 30 million gold on pets, which I've all still got spread across huge amounts of characters. For me, the theory of having lots of liquid gold made no sense. I might as well have spent it on stuff, and so spend I did. Plus, there was Diablo Immortal. Spent a bunch of gold on Diablo Immortal, or anything with the Diablo name in it, honestly. The fact that I've had access to every single Blizzard game that's come out, and I've not, like, taken money out of my back pocket for any single one of them, sort of thing. You'd be surprised how quickly gold disappears when you just spend it like it's, you know, Monopoly money. Well, it is technically Monopoly money, but you know what I mean. And I think hitting 100 million was me quite literally liquidating almost my entire inventory of everything just to hit that target. That was, I hit 100 mil when I cashed out of legendaries. So that would have been, let's think about that, probably around 9.2? 9.2 was when rank 7 legendaries came out, and I only did rank 7 legendaries for about 2 weeks. I was very quick to exit the legendary market after 9.2. Mostly because I definitely had enough of it by then. 9.2 landed and we made about 60 million really fast. And then I was like, I'm done. See you later.
Sadly, a creature with unstable arcane surges was
I kind of wanted, and I was really hoping that Dragonflight would reinvigorate, like, my old school playstyle for gold making, which was heavily focused on, like, crafting. I still don't really feel that, like, well, legendaries were just so broken. It didn't feel like crafting. I just had one template and I ignored everything outside of that template, and the goal was very simple: copy paste that template across a bunch of different servers. There was only, I think, 4 servers I actually ultimately sold legendaries on. 2 that I focused on very heavily, but 4 in total. But the concept was simple: just copy paste the same process. You needed 1 tailor, 1 blacksmith, 1 leatherworker, 1 jewel crafter. So you needed 2 characters to do your crafting, and then you probably needed 1 extra character to do other side hustle crafting. And you just copy pasted that process. .39s and 11s. Wonderful.
Your performance is beyond my expectations.
Wait, you knew these creatures were waiting to be unleashed.
Of course, and you rose to the challenge, as I knew you would.
This all seems questionable. Malleable is this vision of yours?
I was afraid of this.
Right, last wing then.
Process used to
2 more bosses by the looks of things. Last wing, that should hopefully, by the time this finishes, it's 1/2 the hour now. We got half an hour until the rift is up, so we can get the rift done for the week. And a little after that, we'll probably start taking a little bit of a look at this week's alpha patch and some of the news related stuff. Maybe watch a video or 2. That's the plan. There we go. Second bullion. So we got that. Next week, I'll be able to do a bit of spam bullion farming on an alt to get 3 to get Jigglesworth. Okay. Does anyone think that any of these inscriptions for the dragon transformations might be worth more than the vendor sell price next expansion? I'm struggling to believe they'll be worth that much. There's an element of collectorness to them, obviously. But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced predominantly because I think by the time we leave Dragonflight, the handful of dragon riding mounts we've had this expansion will not keep people very interested. The fact that going forward, the novelty, I think, the novelty of dragon riding mounts will wear off super fast when nearly every mount, and every mount going forward will be a dynamic flying mount. This mount customization that they introduced with dynamic flying worked as an excuse for the fact that there was only like 4 or 5 different mounts. I don't think people are going to give 2 hoots next expansion, honestly. It'll be the same concept again of like which is the mount that just straight up looks the coolest. It's my take at least anyway. I'm not hopeful. I don't think there's enough people that even in Dragonflight care about them. Some people have collected them for the sake of collecting them because it's another thing on the reward path, you know, but I don't strictly believe that when all of a sudden all of your old mounts, when your entire collection converts to dynamic, or a good percentage of it at least, when most of your past collection converts to dynamic flying, plus all of the new stuff, I think the level, the shits given will be very slim. We're stuck on these things. Let's make them go away. Check it out, monthly top 5 DPS and doing tactics. Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. When I do dungeons, I'm always top 5 DPS. Every time. Guaranteed. In many cases, I'm top 3. Check me out. Dawn of the Infinite earlier this week was fun though, by the way. I don't know how many of you were here to catch that. That was quite amusing. Absolute shit show, but amusing. Let's get rid of these. Let's get rid of these. There we go. I'll help out. The Zelifar. I don't think the platform is going to get too wham with problems. Stack, you morons. Lord have mercy. It's not moronic. to not know something. It's moronic to know something and actively choose to not do it. Ignorance is bliss. Welcome to LFR. If you're going to use insults, at least use grammatically correct insults. Fucking hell. Dead. Go on, that's only 50 mil. Can solo that. Solo that shit. Ugh. Oh dear. All sorts of abuse going on in this LFR. Sheesh. People need to relax. You don't look at the stream for a second, they wipe for the easiest boss in the raid. It's going so well. I was top 4 DPS behind this sweat lord. Sweat lord at the top of the tree. My last comment, alt tabbing to Twitch, nearly wiped my group. Almost, though. Almost. Almost being the key number there. Serious abuse going on. I get so angry in LFR. I don't understand. Like, I understand there's a level of frustration because some people stroll into LFR assuming it should be 100% never fail. But sometimes you just gotta, you know, give it a break. Nope. I love disengage. It's genuinely one of my favourite abilities in the game. Completely ignores all the laws of, like, physics. Love it. Disengage and Divine Toll. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, Convoke has definitely got its place up there for sure. Shut the fuck up, it's LFR. Oh, yes. Gotta love some unnecessary rage in LFR. Pop a turtle. Boop. Oh, yes. What have we got here? Random ass neck that's not an upgrade in any way, shape or form. Why does it allow me to select need on that? I don't get why it allows me to select need. It just shouldn't. Can't need on that one. Ooh, Shadow Flame Wreath. Wow, I bought one of these for 1 million gold. Nearly a year ago to the day. 358 days ago, I bought one of these recipes for 1 million gold, and now their average sale price is 17k. Nice! Okay, sure. They've changed how legacy tier sets can be warband wide. Previously they weren't, so I'm happy about that change. Huge dub Blizz that they've actually listened to the community. How legacy tier sets can be warband wide. I'll have to look into that in a minute. This is the week to buy those missing Shadow Flame recipes. Most expensive one on Kha'Zix, 10k. Oh, the appearances for them, right? Yeah. Yeah, we'll hopefully see a lot of these things implemented. We can hope, at least. Oh, this would be like perfect timing for my cool trinket, but it's not off cooldown. Somebody needs to die. Can somebody hurry up and die? I mean, I'm already sweating the DPS. Love padding meters. Love padding meters. Does mean I now don't have cooldowns for the boss. Ah, whatever.
What do you mean? Where is Sarkareth?
You were never leading us to Sarkareth.
Always the clever one.
Oh no, our top DPS's weapon's broken. What a shame.
What are you?
I am the whisper in the dark. I had hoped you would see the value of the gifts I offered, yet you rejected them. The Drakthir eagerly.
There's literally a repair dude like, oh no, the door's closed. Oops.
We will never bow to the deceiver.
Yeah, there is a bunch of recipes I still need from Dragonflight, which I probably should get a bunch of them. As the completionist in me tells me I should, but we'll see how it goes. Right, let's see if a bit of Lady Gaga poker face can get the job done. Get the job done. Wait for stomp on the PvP recipes. I mean, they're usually cheap enough. Just buy them. They're not really too much of a problem. Oh, wild wife appears. How's your toes? Thanks. Sure.
Imminent collapse.
What? Oh, sure. You do you. I'm busy from multiple angles. Hurry up! I'm trying to do 4 things at once. Is this just gossip? quickly then. I don't know what that is.
Imminent collapse.
I don't know what that is. That... Okay.
Impudent mortals. If death is what you seek, I shall grant it.
My mic doesn't work. Oh well, whatever. Right, let's go, 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 go. We hear you, we're judging you. Don't worry about it, it's fine. She was trying to tell me gossip and I was trying to raid and trying to stream.
The endless dark.
Now I'm mute. Hang on, are we muted? Are we not muted? What's going on? Where's OBS? No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Wi-Fi aggro. Oh, we've lost our spot at the top of the tree. Look, I'm not even on the table now. Damn. Right, nuke, 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 nuke. We got 13 minutes. 13 minutes until the rift. What were the 3 things we needed to do? Rift, researchers. What was the 3rd thing we had to do? Rift, researchers. Oh, a shipment thingy. I see, shipment thingy. Got it. That's an easy one, because is that up like nearly all the time, right? I'm pretty sure it is. Oh, I hate this boss. I keep getting stuck behind the walls. How do you unstick this thing? Somebody say, is it I don't know. I don't understand this boss at all. Oh, fishing hole. Yeah, we got to get our good boy. Maximum good boy. Is it's 10-7, he goes big again, right? So he's still gonna be small for a while. But I think they've fixed him, so he's gonna be big boy again. Make sure you're in the same zone as the boss when the fire circles appear, which is where the walls will show up. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Right, what do we get? Not one of you, 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 not one of you. Wow, there was not a single item I could even try and steal. Shocking performance. Literally nothing. Well, that's LFR done, I think. Is that done? Are we done? Are we good? Are we good? Is that everything? That's everything. Okay. Right, we should have two bullions, a bow and a good boy. Okay. Shipment rift. 10 minutes till a rift. Let's go get the good boy. Let's go get the good boy. We got time. We can do that. Is this the week, though, to maybe get some boulders? I'm thinking this could be the week for some boulders, you know.
Lost your way.
This could be the week to get some boulders. I still need that stupid hat. That flipping 250 boulder hat has got to be mine before the end of this expansion. Got to be mine. Okay. The Barter Boss title as well. Barter Boss is quite a cool one for goblins, isn't it, really? It's kind of quite a cool one just for goblins. It's fitting. It's a fitting title. Right. Do we need to actually do anything to unlock this fishing hole? I've somehow managed to do all of these previously, but without actually ever figuring out how I did them. So I'm assuming there's like a daily quest or something we do over there and it just works, right?
Let's
Is that
make sweet,
there's a
sweet
quest?
profit together.
Watch out with the Prime. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. What's this quest we're going to have to do then? Let's look on the map. No, 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 no. Come back. Fishing Frenzy. Is it going to be this one? Let's see. Okay, I've definitely had enough of Gwen Stefani. Oh, tune. Now we're talking. Found it. It was the price strings. Took so long to find out, though. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it will. There was something obviously wrong with the price strings, but it's the like I said, the best way to diagnose TSM issues is to throw a screenshot of the error in the Discord channel. That way they'll that way somebody will be able to look at it and give you a heads up where to start. Fish up a net from a fishing hole was super bugged for me yesterday, but good old Google found a solution. Oh no, that makes me scared. I don't like things that are bugged. We like to avoid bugs. Avoid doing frack things as well. Let's just go and explore.
There are some strange magical anomalies in the
Climbing
ice
gear. Nobody wants climbing gear.
Some samples for my research.
Yoink. Oh, I haven't got the keys. I genuinely can't remember how you do this. Is this going to be a problem because flipping Farak's here as well? It shouldn't be, right? Let's just kill some things. Pew pew. Right, you're dead. Fishing Frenzy, this is the one, right?
Gather meat for us and bring back stories of your exploits.
Do we set fishing net? Oh, I really hope I don't balls this up. 5 of 8. These things hyper spawn. Like really hyper spawn.
What a haul. Certainly worthy of a tale or two of your own.
Is it this quest? No, you're Farak Assaults again. I should have just looked this up, shouldn't I? I'm going to balls this up, I can tell already. Primal Wall Tufts are worth a lot these days. They've people keep resetting them. There's a few people that are resetting those I'm aware of. What's this one? Net worth. Hey, what? Hang on, what we got going on here? Restocking fish. This is the one. Recover the net from ice holes. Okay. What about this one? I don't know what this is. What are you? This doesn't seem to be it. What's going on here? Recover the fishing net from ice holes in the Azure span. You may unlock 1 extra fishing hole per day. Nothing in that one. There's no ice holes around here though. Oh, I'm so confused by these. Fishing nets seemed like one of the most pointless things in the expansion. There's I like the fact that they at least did something with fishing. Fishing historically is so mundane that something was needed. I don't think fishing holes were really it, but the fact that they did something is like better than nothing, right? I think. Oh, do we just have to open these until we find the one that's got a net in it or something? Is that what it is? No, it won't let me open any of these. Here we go. What? Oh, I'm so confused. Oh, you do actually just fish it up, okay. Let's try and find an area without a bunch of assault people in it. Mr. 300 gold fish for Dark Moon cards sells the shovels. It was so weird how flipping what do you call it? Dark Moon cards ended up being a fishing thing. That took everybody by surprise. Was not expecting that. Oh, rift. I've just realised we need to rift. You have the bug I had. Come on, fishy fish. There we go. Boom. Boom. Net worth. Turn it in.
Ah, a new face. I'll pass your story along.
Boom! All the achieves. How many mounts was that in one go? Like 3 mounts in one go or something? Got ourselves a good boy. Finally got ourselves a good boy. Oh, any cool. Any cool. Good boy and his pink elephant friends. He's very cool. I like him a lot. Pink elephants get in the way. He's very cool. That was the last thing. Who would have thought a flipping fishing hole would be the thing that gate kept me from completing the meta achievement? Hold space. Ow, ow! That's quite cool. I like him. He'll be even better when he goes big mode again. He'll be even better when he goes big mode. Right, let's get over to the rift. Rift o'clock. If only there was no flying at any point to use ground mounts. It's true. that is big true. But I guess cool is still cool. Cool is still cool. Other because some confused doggos in your background. Well, they're both fast asleep right now. One fast asleep on the sofa where she's not meant to be. Because I had to take the sofa apart yesterday because one of the dogs was sick on it. Another tragedy of yesterday. Yesterday was not a good day for me. We need flying dogs in WoW. I'd take flying dogs not in WoW, honestly. Man's best friend and all. Right. Let's get some rift business on the go.
I can set the time waves right again.
What's the chances that everybody's just leeching this? Is anybody actually doing it? Should we see? As long as cows do not fly in real life? Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think a cow is maybe one step too far on the flying scale. How do we dispose of these chunks? I'm having a real poor day in understanding what the flipping element's be doing. I'm having what I would refer to as a dumb day, clearly. Why does that not do anything? Ah, clever. Success. How have I never done this part of the rift? That's crazy. I did way too many rifts for way too long. Right, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Timeline against our enemies. We stand as one.
Oh, I've just realised I can take all of these daily daycare whelp things off now. I'm kind of glad I'm done with that, honestly. I need barrage back for this. This is a real task for barrage. The whelp daycare was a real what am I doing with my life moment. It's of the side hustles, it was one of the better ones, let me put it that way. It was one of the better ones, but I'm also quite content in the fact that I now don't need to do it anymore. I would much, to clarify, to not totally dumpster on it, I would much prefer to have little side hustles in the game than that, rather than a flipping Hearthstone, rather than the Rift, honestly. These 30-minute, this is one thing I really hope in the next expansion, is that we don't get so many of these 30-minute timer jobs. Because, well, we've had too many in Dragonflight, let's put it that way. I think they've done overkill on the do this on the hour, do this halfway past the hour, do this once a week for 8 weeks straight. Like I maybe it's a sign I play the game too much, but also I feel that they went too far with it. It's tough, right? Because if they didn't do anything of those lines, you'd be like, well, what world content is there to do? Maybe it's just the fact that they were too copy-paste of each other a lot of the time. The Dream Surge, in fact, the Rift was better than the Dream Surge ones. Let's put it that way. The Dream Surge was very underwhelming. I hope we can find a happy medium. This is why delves really intrigue me. Delves are really intriguing. I hope they can do something with delves that grabs the attention of people, like naturally, and I mean grabs the attention by people that, you know, they look at it and they go, that's actually cool, I'd like to give that a go, rather than it being, oh, I'll do that because it has a reward I want. If you just dangle the carrot on the stick and make it so that the reward is so juicy that people are going to do it regardless, the people out there that'll eat shit on the daily if you give them a nice reward at the end of it, you know. So I think if they can make delves something that people actually want to do, I think it'd be really cool. My only concern is early reports don't seem to indicate that. Early reports seem to indicate, or a lot of people who've had the ability to actually play test them and stuff are quite frequently claiming that they're quite underwhelming. So let's hope that it doesn't end up being that way, but we'll see. Loot pinatas from every angle. What are the ones I need? Oh, look. Oh, black and red armor. Yoink. Okay. That's a trinket. Dream Surge was better than the Rift because you don't have to wait for the bus.
Adventure. The sun.
Well, yeah, I suppose the fact that the Rift is... But then again, you can always turn up late to the Rift and still... If you turn up late to the Dream Surge, you don't get on the bus. You know, the bus comes and the bus goes. It means you absolutely had to be at the Dream Surge at the right time because it lasted genuinely 2 minutes. Like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, see you later, done. I know it's Blizzard's way of doing things nowadays, but I still think that sort of aggressive use of timed events is problematic. Because it started to get a little bit frustrating when you were like, okay, on the hour you do this, then halfway past the hour you do that, then you try and squeeze something in between. And if there wasn't something that you were really trying to work on in between, it would just mean that you would end up like twiddling your thumbs, just waiting between these timed events. Which I don't think quite hit the brief when it came to like world content. The problem is the reason they use timed events is because it means that everybody goes and does it at the same time, which means that there's actually like engagement in them. The problem with not having them timed and allowing you to go and do them as you please, it often means that there's not that same sort of hype feeling about them. But yeah. Right, do we need 3 of these keys? Ever-burning key, we need 3 of these. I can't really remember how this works. Other than I remember you kill things to get something, to then do something else, to then get a key that then does something else. Wasn't there 3 levels of something? I can't really remember. Haha, there we go. Oh no, poor dude was just doing his fishing and I spawned a bunch of mobs on his ass. Oh, that's funny. Poor guy. Oops. Wards. Where is it now? Wards, then keys, then something, then wards, then something else. Yeah. 5 of these, some of these, some of these. I didn't ever do the one out over here all that much. I did the one in the Anaran Plains a bunch of times. Requires 5 wards of summon. Okay, I'm still missing reagents. I'm sure somebody will summon it soon enough. There you go. Pew pew. Dead. Did. Another ever-burning key. Still missing reagent. Oh, is this dude just going to get chain pulled nowadays? I reckon he probably is, right? That's probably how it works now. The irony being is the most time I engaged with these Farak assaults was when I needed to craft something and needed the table. That was literally it. Another key. That's all I need, right? 3 of those. 3 of those. Open the big chest thing. Where's the big chest thing? There's a big chest thing. Boop. Bish bash bosh. Bish bash bosh. Okay. Figured that shit out nice and easy. Back to Valdrakken, I guess then? No, wait, hang on. Hang on. What's going on here? Oh no, that's not the part of the quest. I couldn't care less about that. Let's go. What did I do? That coffee.
The city's finest wares. I am always at your service.
Right, we should have 2 bullions now. Should we go get a bow? Should we get a fancy bow?
Isles have awakened.
Another half a spark. $493 ring. Not actually an upgrade in any way. This is going to be the weird thing for me now. The fact that I actually bothered to do some M0s last week means that 99 times out of 100, like, gear isn't going to matter for me anymore. Haste Mastery isn't that better for BM? I don't know. Item level is better. Probably if you're capped out on everything, maybe possibly, but I don't know. Was it in here? I think it was in here, wasn't it? It was in here. What we buying? What we buying? What's it called? Trinkets. Trinkets. Nelthrax, enemy of the sky. What does it do then? Auto-attacking enemy grants you 10% increased auto-attack damage, stacking up to 5 times. This bonus resets upon auto-attacking a different target. Okay. Okay. Is there a trick in doing the treasures of X parts of the meta? Mass firming dirt piles? Usually the treasures of somewhere are like named treasures that are one-time pickups on your map. Honestly, the way I've always done it is I've just asked Zygor and it tells me where they all are. Good for raids, not so good for dungeons. True. It's a free proc. Yeah, it's free bonus damage, isn't it? That's the advantage there. Free bonus damage. If it stacks 5 times, it stacks 5 times. And so then what's the... These are awakened 1 of 14. What's the trick with upgrading these? These upgrade just the same way as you upgrade anything else, I assume. Okay, right. Well, yoink. Let's go see what we can do with it. And zoom.
The city's finest goods.
So it upgrades just the same as usual. And if you sweat it out, you can get it all the way to 435. Goes all the way to the top of the tree. Would need a lot of stuff though. How far am I going to be able to get it? What's this? Worms Awaken Crests, earned from heroic raids, mythic keystone dungeons, up to +5. So I'm probably not getting many of those, am I? I'm probably not getting many of those. But we can get it up to 502 instantly. I've capped on flight stones, which was probably a terrible idea. Oops. What else are we upgrading? What do we spend all of these flight stones on? What do we spend all these flight stones on? You can get up to 515 just by doing LFR. Need to take the coins and buy crests with them from the vault. Ah, I see. That's going to be the trick, is it? Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not, I'm not totally object to doing a few keystones if needs be to push things up, but I'm also at the same time not really super fussed. 500 was my goal for item level, which if I change these pants out to something better, we're practically there already. These braces could do with an upgrade. Is there a best practice when it comes to upgrading this shit? You just upgrade from the bottom up, right? I never really know. These are starting to require worms crests as well. So, without getting worms crests, 502 is where everything can sit at. There are ways to be optimal, but I don't think you care enough. You know me so well. So well. Yeah. Why is this? Oh, because that's Veteran 8 of 8. That can't go any further. Okay, I see. Yeah, you know me so well. Well, that's as far as that's going to go, temporarily at least. Let's just get everything to 500 plus. I don't really care. $502. How many of these have we got? Drake's Awaken Crests. I've got 90. Boom. I need more Awaken Crests. 195 out of 240. So that's another 45. That means I'll get to upgrade one extra item to 502 by the sounds of things. Cool. That just needs a straight up upgrade anyway. Oh yeah. Whoops. Switcheroo. Ignore me. Whoa, 1,100, 1,300, 1,500, 1,700, 1,900 flight stones. Sheesh! Spicy me the ball. Alright, cool. Well, that's, for the most part, as much gearing as I can do short term, at least, anyway. Swap those pants out. If I can get a better pair of pants, then I'm happy, you know.
Let's make
Then I'm
sweet,
happy.
sweet profit together.
May your strings bring me loads of G's. By the way, will you update them with all of the new Draconic PvP items? I might do one last update to the groups before the new expansion, but I'm going to be brutally honest, probably not. Any time and effort into that sort of stuff now will be more focused towards the next expansion. But appreciate the tier 2. Thank you very much. Thank you. I have spreadsheets for the new expansion. My plans are simple for the new expansion. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I will probably create a default. Basically, I'll probably make the spreadsheet be something a little bit more straightforward. I want it to tap into the API to get pricing data, and I want it to be all of the materials and things. And then people can do with it as they wish, right? I want it to be more of a template thing. Because everybody is going to have a totally different use case for it, depending on what the professions are and stuff. So just the basic template of having it pull in all the pricing data so it can do some maths for you if you wish is probably the direction I'll go. But honestly, Craft Sim does such a good job nowadays of doing all the maths for you. So many people are just 100% better off doing that. So we'll see how it goes. But my focus is more going to be in the new expansion on like one thing I enjoyed this expansion was actually making some more fully fledged written guides. My guide for 10.1.5 with all of the knack stuff and things was stuff I enjoyed doing, and I also think it has the ability to be longer lasting and help more people, which is a double bonus. So we'll probably go that direction more so than spreadsheets, even though a lot of people know me for making spreadsheets. Where's my... What in the world? Like this was a lot more... This was kind of the concept that was a lot more fun for me to do this time round. Having like a full detailed process on how to do certain things. I dabbled with the idea of doing like mini guides for each of the different professions and stuff. I played around with that idea a little bit, but this sort of style of content, I think I enjoyed making it, and I think it's helpful. And it's easy to understand like in the future as well, right? And doing it in Google Sheets is really easy because you can go, oh, what about T3 crafting materials? Boom, straight into it, you know. Something along these lines is what I will probably look to do for the new expansion. I had an alchemy one. Where's my... was it this one? No. Where's it gone? So I also did... I don't think I ever publicly gave this out to people. But this was something I did for a while to try and figure out how to do the professions, right? So just some small little bits of information on the basics, how you level it from 1 to 100, the required materials to do it, this sort of stuff. I would like to do this concept, but for each of the professions. I tried to go into as much detail as I possibly could with this. So things like where you get all your knowledge points from. Where you get all your knowledge points from, like what you get from renown, what you can get one time only, what you need to do weekly. This style is the direction that I'll probably go in the new expansion, because it was more enjoyable to make. I think it's clearer and easier to understand, and I think it'll have a lot more value to people. Create weak auras to keep track of these things. I don't know my ass from my elbow when it comes to weak auras. This is the thing. It's one thing I had thought about doing, because I know the weekly knowledge point stuff, for example, there was loads of calls from people quite legitimately for like, and we did play around with a couple of like weekly knowledge tracking points and stuff like that, weak auras wise. My problem is I just don't know how to make them properly, and I'd have to figure all of that out. So I leave that sort of stuff to people that actually know what they're doing. But it was something I thought about, yeah. But this style of guide for the professions is more along the lines of what I'd like to do. Expanding a little bit more on the info about different professions. And I don't know, I haven't quite figured it out exactly yet. But that's roughly the direction I want to go. What I do want to do now, though, is play a little bit of catch up with the alpha, since there's a new build come out, and I have not seen or looked at nearly any of it. Let's have a little look at what was going on there. Alphaware. Well, unfortunately, my launcher still does not bless me with such access. I have no alpha access still, which is a shame. But that doesn't mean we can't have a little bit of a look at what has happened. Was there a blog post or something that went out? That was the concentration one. Oh, hello, wait. General discussion, community council, in development, war within alpha. Oh, they've unstickied the profession one. Okay. What's this? Feedback, profession knowledge with alts. What are people saying? Looks like the war within knowledge progression is nearly the same as Dragonflight, so please consider giving alts the same benefit to crafting knowledge that they get when your main hits checkpoints with renown. Per alt, get 5 knowledge from a world quest, maybe 1 or 2 a week, and an additional 10 from the weekly quest. Alternatively, maybe scaling back on the amount of knowledge needed on the alts in the trees by X%. Just something simple to help keep alt crafting in a place where it's not a 2 expansion effort to hit max level. The easiest solution there is just to make the professions account wide, which I think is what they should do, but perhaps more importantly, some type of catch-up mechanic for characters. No way to really catch up on lost profession knowledge opportunities if you missed a week or several weeks of weekly quests and such. They've already said no to that, which is annoying. This is why that little post we got earlier on in the week frustrated me so much, because they've already kind of said no to that. Which to be more precise, resets or respec with professions, which in turn obviously links to catch up. But I'm not really sure of any plans for that specifically. The concern is if the concern is being able to spend all of your time in a profession talent tree and then it feel like you made a wrong choice or don't want to do jewel crafting anymore and want to go back to do tailoring and make it a bit easier to do that, I'm not aware of any specific plans that we're ready to talk about today. Well, that wasn't the question, was it? It wasn't about swapping professions. It was about what happens if I miss a week of dailies. So they've unstickied this post completely. Interesting. Paladin updates, warrior updates, warlock updates, mage updates, dev notes from Linksy. There we go, that's the one we probably want to look at. So what did they update this week? You now get to play in Hallowfall. Dawnbreaker and Priory of the Sacred Flame are the new dungeons. Warband changes. Class set tokens from Legacy raids, Shadowlands and earlier are now warbound and can be transferred to the characters on the account. Well, that's really cool. That's really cool. That sort of because that was a concern that they're making all of the bind on pickup gear from raids. You know, if you get a piece of plate gear on your mage, then you'll learn the appearance all the same. And of course, the class set tokens, they're traditionally soulbound, but you can't use them unless you have the class. So making them warbound and allowing you to send them places makes a lot of sense. Based on the community feedback and to match our overall philosophy on transmog collection, class set tokens from legacy raids will now be warbound, allowing them to be transferred to your alts in order to collect the transmog of your choice. For clarity, current expansion tier set tokens will remain unchanged from their previous status of bind on pickup, as they represent a large amount of power for the player who collects them. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously sensible, right? This is for like legacy stuff. Profession recipes too. It's a good question. Good question. There is still so many questions about what they're doing with professions, and it amazes me that they've seemingly now 3 weeks into the alpha still said as close to nothing as they can get away with about what's happening with professions and warband stuff. Character leveling then. With each phase we encourage you to level up new characters. 75 templates, maximum level 77. So they're doing it in bands, meaning I suspect next week we'll start to see players on the alpha be able to test like true level 80 characters. So maybe alpha's going to be 5 weeks. Maybe alpha's going to be 5 weeks. We've probably got this week and 2 more, I reckon, with the alpha. Because they'll do 78 to 80, and then they'll probably do a week of like actual endgame with level 80 pre-mades. A bunch of class changes. As normal. Arcane's had a lot of work done to it by the looks of things. Seems to be a fair amount of warlock stuff going on. Oh, engineering's been added in this week. Let me go for a quick pee break, and then we'll have a read through this. I'll be back in 2. Alrighty, let's have a little look then. So, what they're doing with engineering. With this week's build, engineering's been enabled. Although the profession is not entirely complete, a majority of the items should be in and ready for testing and feedback. Items with clear use or equip text presents should be fully implemented. Engineering recipe lineup is similar to that of Dragonflight. Single stat, full budget goggles and braces will be available to be crafted, with goggles exclusive to the engineers and braces that will be usable by everybody. Both items possess a tinker socket, which can take any of the new tinkers that are added in the War Within. Additionally, popular tinkers from Dragonflight have a refurbished variant you may discover with specializations and interact with Algari optional reagents. Of course, a variety of consumables and toys also await, several which may be particularly appealing to raiders. Okay, cool. Tinkers, goggles, braces, same scenario again, not swaying too far from the meta there. The choice to refurbish the past ones is interesting. Sure. Potion bombs are a selection of new items that possess the power budget and share the cooldown with ordinary combat potions, but can be used anywhere that potions are allowed. When thrown, they deal a small amount of damage and split between all enemies. Okay, cool. Bombs. Earth with a party of 24. Welcome in, boys and girls. Welcome. Thank you very much. How we doing, Raiders? How we doing? We're just checking over some of the alpha development notes. Of course, I'm looking at the profession stuff predominantly. Engineering is the topic of discussion today. We don't have access to the alpha, unfortunately, but you know, we'll do our best to cover it all the same. But welcome in, boys and girls. Hope you're all good. Hope you're good. That's I like the copy pasta there. I appreciate the copy pasta. Potion bombs. So engineers are going to have potion bombs all the same. One of the questions actually they asked was if things like engineering and alchemy are going to maintain as the professions that sort of have some strong power / utility. And these potion bombs seem to be the way that they're going to keep that, which is nice. Inventing? Okay, this looks cool. Grab some lunch, lurk for a little bit. Hey, I understand. I finish my stream when I get hungry. So, yeah, go eat some food. I appreciate it. Thank you. Finally, there's a new recipe acquisition system for engineers that they're calling Inventing, from which most new recipes will be sourced from. Are they taking inspiration from the alchemy thing here? Maybe they are. When engaging with your profession, there are opportunities to receive or invent a prototype item. A prototype is a unique, low-quality, consumable version of almost every on-use recipe you can acquire. Unique, low-quality, consumable version of almost every on-use recipe you can acquire. Okay, you have the option to use this prototype and attempt to learn the recipe in true engineering fashion. It has a chance to backfire, leaving you extra crispy. Or you can disassemble it to acquire hastily scrawled notes. Collect enough of these notes, and you'll be presented with a choice UI to pick from 2 or 3 if specialized schematics from all of the War Within schematics you have yet to discover. Okay, this is interesting. Does that... I mean, I guess that allows people to play the game of RNG. And if you get the one you want straight away, great. If not, you can scrap it. And eventually, if you get unlucky enough times, you can pull the recipe that you... Well, it's okay. It's layered RNG, isn't it? It's layered RNG. I wonder if there's any sort of Okay, this is going to be interesting to play with, because if there's clearly going to be some sort of cooldown from this, right? When engaging with your profession, there are opportunities to receive or invent a prototype item. Is this just going to be a random proc when crafting? If it's just a random proc when crafting, if you're doing your thing anyway, oh, there's definitely going to be systems to figure out with this one for sure. It's not really inventing at all, but discovering. Yeah, it's because you've got a layer of RNG in terms of finding these prototypes. If the prototype is something you want, you can use it. If it's not, you can break it down, and once you've broken it down enough, you get another choice from 2 or 3. So you can never totally target farm your recipes. As not all items can be prototyped, some are only sourced through the notes, such as combat or profession equipment. Hang on, let's read that sentence again. As not all items can be prototyped, some are only sourced through notes, such as combat or profession equipment. That's not a valid sentence. Ultimately, the goal is to reward engineers for engaging regularly with their profession and provide the player with the agency to make decisions about the recipes they pursue as early as possible. Eventually, once all schematics are known, you can continue to collect warbound notes to expedite this process on your alts. Oh, that's probably the most interesting sentence I've read so far about professions. That's one of the biggest indicators that professions aren't going to be warbound at all in any way. That really strongly makes me feel that professions are just professions. They've not had any warbound love at all, as they are implementing ways and means for you to speed up the process of doing this again on alts. So there's no... Oh, okay. Yeah, that tells us a lot about more than just engineering, by the way. The fact that they've built something into engineering, meaning that, let's say you have an engineer on your main character, but you want to specialize and do something different on another engineer on your account. If you surpass the need for the notes on your main character, you can then share those notes with your alts to get the recipes that you need. Ultimately telling us that you are going to still need, let's say you want 3 jewel crafters or 3 blacksmiths or whatever, learning the recipe on one is not going to give you the ability to craft that on your alts. So the TLDR to that seems to tell us a lot. That tells us a lot. We're going to get lots of warbandy account-wide stuff, but even more so, that emphasizes that none of it is going to apply to professions. You are going to be playing your professions on individual characters, and if you so feel the need, you are going to be doing the process from 0 to 100 on every single character again. It's going to be fun to see how that actually looks and plays out. I'm hoping there's a few people that will put some testing on that one. This was genuinely one of my very, very first thoughts about the new professions in the War Within. Or sorry, the professions in the War Within. The fact that we've known about warbands for so long, and the fact that we started being told about a lot of things with warbands, it's very, very it's very logical to start asking the questions, well, how are professions going to integrate to warbands? And the answer seems to be, every single week, the answer seems to be more towards the fact that professions have just been, like, they're not doing anything with professions and account wideness. You are straight up going to, every single character is going to have 2 professions, and there's going to be next to no crossover, next to no sharing of anything, next to no warbandiness. As and where it makes sense, they will do something to help you learn. Okay. Cool. All right. Button for professions has been added to the micro menu where the spellbook button was previously. The spellbook has been added to the talents frame. Great. Okay. Okay. It'd be interesting to see how that looks. You sound so disappointed. Well, honestly, I am, because it feels so weird that they've taken this big approach and they've really pushed like account wideness, and then they've taken this mentality of account wideness to some of the biggest sections of the game, and then they've just taken professions and go, oh, not you, no, not you. Like, okay, sure, okay. This almost 100% means that alt armies will be a massive win. I think now the chances of an alt army being the dominant way of making gold in the new expansion are like 80% plus. You're probably going to want to have each profession probably 2, if not 3 times, if you want the opportunity to hop about whatever the meta thing it seems to be. It's going to mean that there's a lot of effort you're going to have to put in, because it presumably now means that you're going to have to farm up you're going to have to level all of the professions on all of the alts. You're going to need to do the knowledge farm on all of those characters, presumably. There might be a little bit of freedom from the reputation grind being account-wide. But you're going to need to level everything up individually. You're going to need to acquire recipes on them all individually. You're going to need to do knowledge points on them all individually. I already couldn't be bothered to do more than 2 professions. Now I need to do those 2 on 50 characters. Sod that. If everything was easy, then nothing would be worth anything at all. But this was where the concept of concentration could have been the solution to that, right? This is why we started to suspect that a lot more stuff could be going account-wide, because concentration could have easily been the restriction from that, right? So the choice could have been what to spend your concentration on, and that would have neutered the need to have like multiple different copies of each professions to be able to cover all grounds. It feels very much now, especially considering even more so than in Dragonflight, right? Because in Dragonflight you could, yes, in theory, you could start the expansion with 3 jewel crafters. One that did prospecting, one that did rings and necklaces, one that did gems. You could have gone that route from the word go, but ultimately it would have ended up that you just had 3 copies of a perfect jewel crafter. So there was a lot of upfront effort, but it would have meant that you could have min-maxed all aspects of jewel crafting. You could have been gathering artisans' metal on all of them, and you could actually choose when to spend it as well. This is one thing that actually disappoints me, because it's going to make concentration feel worse than what Dragonflight does now. Because at least today you can pool your artisan's metal and you can then choose when to use it. Once you've got your artisan's metal, it's yours. You can choose when to use it. Concentration actually removes that flexibility from us. Because concentration is going to be a bar that fills up, and once that bar is full, you're losing a lot of potential by keeping it full, if that makes sense, which is going to actually promote a lot more of this alt behavior with professions, because you're going to be limited to how much you can do on a single character, which only emphasizes the advantage of doing that same thing on multiple characters to get stacking benefits from doing it. Yeah, alt armies are going to be monstrously overpowered. And it's weird that Blizzard seems to have left that door wide open. Like, it kind of it's counterintuitive to what concentration seemed to be trying to achieve. Concentration appeared when we first saw it that it was going to be the thing that makes crafting certain items at certain qualities more straightforward for the crafter, more predictable for the crafter, and also for somebody looking to buy that piece of gear more reliable. More reliable to the fact that, you know, so if somebody says they can make a Q5, you know they can do it if they're using their concentration, because it's then guaranteed, assuming they have the concentration to do it. Very odd. Very odd. How are we doing, Bear? Welcome in. Hope you're well. A little bit late, but still here. No, I appreciate it. Welcome in. Yeah, start leveling alts, honestly. Start leveling alts. I love goal making, but I barely have enough patience to do the 4 mains. It's gonna be... yeah. Alt armies, multi-box leveling. Is that where we're going to? Is that the direction we're going? Well. Panda Remix is going to be an excellent time to level a new alt army. The thing that will hold people back is just how long it takes to get from level 70 to 80. Because early on in an expansion, 70 to 80 is usually 6 to 8 hours per character if you are just pumping. It can easily be 10 to 12 hours to level from, you know, to level to the new level cap per character, which is an awful lot of playtime, which does slow the alt army thing down. By level boosts. Even the level boosts, all the level boosts really do is take away the effort that you have to put in. There's still like that time, you're still often like, even the storms, I mean, they were broken and it was borderline an exploit, but it was don't forget 3-day early epic edition. Well, that 3-day early access, I can't see any better way to use that than to just straight up try and level 3 new characters. If you can get 3 characters to max, 3 days, 3 characters, 3 days, 3 characters to max, I think that's probably one of the best uses you could do. That means, because you need 4 characters to cover all of the professions. Now, we don't strictly know if being level 80 will be that important. If you can still do your weekly quests, if you can still do your knowledge acquisition, if you can still play with your professions well, without strictly being max level. But as we know, a lot of the things that you need to do is just easier and faster to do once you are max level. So we'll see. 5% XP boost per toon at 80 up to 25%. Yeah, it's linked to achievements. So yes, your first handful of characters will be slowly but surely a bit faster each time. A little bit faster each time, and up until a passive 25% XP bonus. Bonus? Bonus. You know what I mean. Okay. Well, I hope we'll get to see that. I hope a few people that have access to the alpha will jump on that and have a little bit of a poke around. And we'll see how that looks. What else has landed with the new patch? I'm sure Wowhead's data mined the shit out of it, right? Loading screens. Okay, sure. Oh, we didn't check the trading post, did we? Oh, I'm going to go check the trading post. What's in the trading post this month? If you want a big army, you might need to level many equally, going for rested and letting it fill up, of course, after a few fast main characters. Oh yeah, there'll be optimizations to it. I'm finding it super hard to believe, though, now that alt armies won't be the way forward. It was kind of 50-50 for a little while when they first started talking about stuff, because the very first thing they started talking about was warbands. And, you know, obviously the foundational point of a warband, or of warbands, is to make things account-wide, meaning that if you've done it once, you don't need to do it again. But apparently professions don't seem to integrate to that logic. They want you to do your professions multiple times over, apparently. So, if that's the case, that is what we will do. 600 traders? Why did I get 600? Isn't it 500? Or maybe I've done some stuff already this month that would have bought me some extra stuff. Right. Amber skitterfly. Another bug. Sure. Oh! You, sir, have something in your eye. That looks mighty painful. Okay. Some bling daggers. Some bling daggers. A bling, a flowery pointy stick. Some little phoenixy looking. They go quite well on my shoulders, to be fair. Oh my god. There seems to be... You need that bow. I mean, it's fabulous, isn't it? Absolutely fabulous. Oh, it's a big sunflower. I get it. Some crown. Lord. It was a cheap trading post for me this month. Only bought the mount. That is one hooning big whacking stick for such a small character. Literally doesn't fit in the screen. Why? See, this is why has it got 4 pixels to it? Why is there something on the trading post that's got like 4? You know, looks as if I made it in MS Paint. Yeah, looks like it could be quite a cheap trading post month. Some black gloves. A bucket. Okay. A leaky bucket. Oh, the blazing hippogriff was in it again. Trading card game mount in the store again? Damn. I bet that annoyed people. Didn't they give this away as a Twitch drop or something recently? Doesn't everybody have the blazing hippogriff? Wasn't this a Twitch drop or or a prime reward or something. Did annoy people. Half my guild threatened to quit. in before Spectral Tiger. Do you reckon they'd ever dare to do that? Do you think they'd dare to do that? Do you think they'd dare to put the Spectral Tiger in the trading post at some point? There's part of me that's there's part of me that's that thinks they might do something silly with the Spectral Tiger at like an expansion launch. They won't. Maybe a recolor. Yeah, no. I don't know if they've got the balls to put the Spectral Tiger in the trading post. Truck it on the trading post, 100k tender. Start selling tender in the shop. Yeah, yeah. The price it has no way to benefit Blizzard currently. Yeah. I do think it's. I do think it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Okay, we're at the point now where if you keep up with the trading post, you don't actually have that much. I mean, this is literally the only thing that is of any real value. I mean, 1,000 tenders for me. Boom, boom. We'll get the pet. We'll get the mount. Sure. It's just a recolor of one that I've got 12 different versions of anyway. He's quite cool. He's quite cool. It looks painful, mine, but looks quite cool. We'll have you. Here's 1,000 tender, look. Oh! A secretive frog duck. What was this? What's this achievement?
Safe travels, hero.
Oh! 1,400 unique pets! Haha! Well, well, well. A twofer. A twofer. Gotta love a good twofer. Put the long boy on the trading post. I'd spend my monthly salary to get it.
Welcome
That would
to
be
the
a very risky one, wouldn't it? That would be a very risky one. Wow, what a day for mounts it's been. Taiwan plus a bunch of others. Plus a bunch of pets. Plus a whole bunch of stuff today. 482 mounts. That'll be 500 by the time Panda Remix is done. I need to hit the big 500. Feels like I'm slacking. Oh, hang on. Let me get somewhere where it will let me look at these things. It's not even going to get favorited, that one. I genuinely don't care that much. Okay. Well, that was, yeah, not much going on in the trading post. Clearly they have hot months and cold months with the trading post. There wasn't really I've got 8k tender waiting for the long boy. I mean, the long boy's another one, right? There's always this constant discourse about are they going to add it back to the game or not. I think they'll give us a reskin of it at some point, but I don't think it'll have the auctioneer on it. I think that's the only way, because it's such a cool model. And in the game files already, there's multiple different colour variations of the long boy. I suspect we'll get the same character model, but I also suspect it will be auction house-less. I don't think they'll ever give us the long boy with the auctioneer on it again. Yeah, I'm not convinced we'll see the true long boy ever back again. Black market auction house or nothing. Time for some Children's Week. How can you call yourself a goblin without extorting children? I think I've done most of the Children's Week stuff. But why though? Well, there's a technological reason, I believe, to why they took the long boy away so quickly. I will continue to spread this rumor every time somebody asks, but there's quite a lot of stress that's put on the servers every time somebody spawns on a longboy. And if you have a handful of people jumping on a longboy and opening an auction house in a random zone, it can actually introduce an awful lot of lag to that zone. Which I think Blizzard found out the hard way in Battle for Azeroth when they launched it, because, you know, there was longboys popping up everywhere in every single zone, and the server load on running an auction house, even if it's just for you, is probably pretty substantial. And I'm somewhat convinced the reason the longboy was made extinct so fast was because they were, well, in BFA they had real problems with server lag anyway, and I think the longboy was a big contributing factor to their server lag issues, and so it was deemed that it had to go. Obviously, people that still have it, and they'll manage the fact that there are people out there that still have it, and 1 or 2 individuals per week are lucky enough to be able to buy it off the black market auction house, but they are never going to do any more than drip feed it back into the... They're not going to make it mass available again, because I think it caused them quite many problems. But anyway. Boys and girls, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm going to leave it there in turn also for the week. I mentioned earlier that I know I've missed a few streams, and I know I've not had much like YouTube content or stuff up recently. One, not having the alpha makes it difficult. People want to know about what the new stuff is, and I have no ability to really give that information. But when we can, expect some more effort on my part. Plus, it means I get to sort of chill and not stress too much and relax a little bit, because I know the summer is going to be busy when, you know, beta turns up. Panda Remix is coming in a couple of weeks' time. So we can just chill, do a little bit of Season 4 leveling. Potentially start looking at getting some more of these alts up. Maybe even some other games. I'm tempted to throw a Factorio playthrough into the mix recently. Also, some of you may have spotted on my toolbar earlier, I had Xbox loaded up. I'm very tempted, and I was almost going to do this today, to have a little bit of a playthrough of Lord's Manor. Since this has already had some... This has already had some pretty decent reviews. City Skylines was such a flop. Most recent power washing simulator. Yeah, I got some real power washing simulator action in yesterday. Been looking at Factorio recently, thinking of doing another run. Yeah. There's a few games out there at the moment that I'm intrigued to have a little bit of a poke about at. So in the next 2 weeks until Panda Remix launches, we might spend a bit of time playing some other stuff. I think there's some opportunities there. And of course, if anybody wants to join in with those, you are free to. Of course, I will go by the theory again, and I'll stick to it, that if at any point Alpha lands on my doorstep, we will jump onto Alpha and we'll just go. Oh, there's a new Friday Facts out. What's the Friday Facts of today? Oh, I've got to find out what the Friday Facts is. What's the Friday Facts today? Diminishing beacons. Main purpose of beacons is to allow massively increasing your production in the late game whilst being more than just a module or a faster machine. To make use of beacons, you need to adjust your building layout for them. Beacons succeed in the role, but everything ends up being put in a box. Yeah, the 12 beacon layout's boring as fuck. The first of the typical 2 layouts is surrounding the machine with a maximum of 12 beacons. Best compute performance, not very space efficient, costly on both construction materials and power draw. It's easy to build a lot of belts through as this place is to put them all. In fact, it's so easy that we feel like the endgame layout isn't very challenging to build. Yeah, this is actually what your factory looks like eventually. There are a few small variations you can make, like bringing the side beacons closer, but overall most of the 12 beacon layouts look identical for the vast majority of recipes. So late game factories end up looking like an array of little squares. How are they fixing this then? The other option being alternating rows of machines and beacons. With just the 2-tile gap between the beacons and the machines, you can only route very few transport belts through. There are a few tricks that help getting up to 2 transport belts in and 1 transport belt out. Belt weaving. Nobody likes belt weaving. Alternatively, since this is quite space efficient, it's good for robot logistics, in which case you just copy-paste request a provider chests next to their machines. Not exactly creative either. Since there aren't many other significant alternatives to these 2 layouts, all in all, using beacons seems pretty restrictive on build variety and tends to feel monotonous and uninteresting, especially compared to how varied the early stage game is. Yeah, I think this is mostly because people have just... Factorio has been out long enough and people have just figured this shit out, right? People have just optimized the crap out of it. People have just figured out that this is the best way, and anything other than the best way is dog do, don't do it. Over the years, this problem has been discussed. We've thought of various ideas. There's also been different experiments with that modding API allowed, which is also a telltale sign that a lot of people would like some form of change. Beacon overload is a mechanic from the space exploration mod, causes any machine affected by more than a single beacon to shut down. This means that the 12 beacon, 8 beacon, or any other beacon layouts are strictly impossible. With the normal beacon range, you could still do the inverse of a 12 beacon design and surround a single beacon with machines. But it gets impractical to repeat and tile because there are now 12 machines needing inputs and outputs instead of just 1. When trying beacon overload, it feels fresh at first. The beacons are more powerful at base level and have more module slots, so an individual beacon becomes more flexible. There's a much larger benefit in dropping down the occasional lone beacon to boost random areas of production, but you need to be careful to not overlap a machine with 2 beacons and overload it. The problem is there's not much flexibility in the beacon arrangement. Typically, you're building beacons in a grid which avoids overlaps, so it's not much more interesting than the base game, but it looks better though at least. Right, what's the plan of action then? Things get more varied with the wide area beacon from space exploration. Sorry, boys and girls. Anybody that's never played Factorio is probably just what in the chat right now. But I've played this game for thousands of hours and absolutely love it to death, even though I've basically never played it on stream. However, this gets rather inconvenient to tile if you want to avoid overlapping machines with multiple beacons. The size of the entire build is dictated by the range of the beacon, so it's almost always clustered around 1 beacon or a short line of beacons in a modular fashion. Example of wide area beacon layouts by Oblivion, a space exploration speedrunner. Whoa! Have we got space exploration speedrunners now in Factorio? Have people mastered space exploration so hard that they're even speedrunning it these days? Jeez Louise. I'm clearly behind the curve with my Factorio mods. These focus on direct insertion to make a key product within the range of a single wide area beacon. You have a lot of flexibility in how you build with the beacon area, so it can be nice for direct insertion builds. In the big picture, it puts all of the design freedom on the building within the beacon space, but the placement options of the beacons themselves get pretty boring. It's just another grid. Hidden beacons from built-in beacons mod. Oh, that's a cool mod. An experiment which tries to simulate, well, what if beacons did not exist in the game and increase the crafting speed of the machines themselves? Well, then you just, then you just chain them. The result of this is that factories never need to transition into improving production rates by layout changes other than routing in more belts, which can be seen as both a negative and a positive. On one hand, you still have all of the possibilities in the early stages, and snaking in more belts through is great, but at the same time it doesn't introduce anything new. What is this ball of chaos? Is all of this just to produce 4 yellow science? I mean, I guess it is. A direct insertion with built-in beacons. Oh yeah, look, there's like 8 modules in each of these. 8 tier 3 modules in each factory. Holy shit. One new thing it does introduce is that it becomes viable to directly insert items between machines without losing out on crafting speed. Okay. Mod limitations. Neither of us imagined that our mods would be the right solution for a base game. We're aware of the shortcomings of, but mods are very limited in what they can do with beacons in 1.1. Other mods have experimented with different beacon mechanics too, but anything more interesting than some basic value changes requires a lot of unpleasant workarounds and runtime scripting. There are some creative approaches out there, but none of those mechanics are right for the base game either. Even with the context of space exploration, beacon overload wasn't the solution I wanted. It was the best solution I could find with the options I had and some light scripting. I looked at a lot of other options, but generally ruled out most of them as impossible or impractical with the engine limitations, and ended up with beacon overload. The solution? Belt crimes is what that is. Yeah, this is there's clearly a little bus of materials going across here. Oh, I mean, like as a Factorio veteran, that screen just makes my eyes hurt. Especially when you've got inserters pulling from the ends of belts. That just makes my brain go, ow. Because that's never going to be even. Ah! Okay, what's the solution then? Our dreams were always in the idea of diminishing returns. The more beacons you would surround a machine with, the less effect each of them would have. However, counter questions and doubts were in place. Are we sure this is really strictly better, or are we just trading one flawed system for another? At least we know the flaws of the current system and it's not that bad. Wouldn't it be worse that it's more difficult to calculate the resulting effects in your head if it's not linear? We don't have time to implement something we're unsure about. I want to clarify for any of my regular World of Warcraft viewers, I'm sure I've annoyed most of you and most of you have already left, but Factorio is probably the most well thought out game in history, right? It's a very simple game at its concept, but you can take it to outrageous levels of complexity if you wish. And the devs, like, I can shit you not, there is nowhere near this level of thought that goes into any system in World of Warcraft. Not even close. Genuinely not even close. For the most part, a lot of what we see in World of Warcraft can be answered, systems and stuff we see in WoW can be answered with 3 simple questions. Are people going to engage with it? Is it going to piss people off to do it? And does it make us money? Once those 3 questions are answered, it's go, go, go. There is never this level of thought that goes into any system. Until 1.0, the negatives seemed to be outweighed by the potential positives, but the dream was always in the back of our minds. In fact, we were so notorious with it that when Boss Kid was refactoring some parts of the beacon effect code, he did it in a way which would allow something like this, just in case it was eventually desired. So, no spaghetti code here. Extra code that is unnecessary to make improving the game later down the line easier. That's like 500 IQ level of creating a game. Whereas World of Warcraft, it's like Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid until, unfortunately, the Band-Aids are about an inch thick and nothing is fixed. Whipped out a proposal, the effect transmission being the square root of the beacon count, buffing the base transmission effect from 50%, adding in quality scaling for effect transmission, tested it and finalized the value. So the story behind the numbers. Okay, this is going to get 7 levels of geeky really goddamn fast. 2 legendary beacons, 2.0 compared to 1.0. 1.1 effects, linear in its improvements. 2.0 effect is going to be a little bit more balanced, and you can boost the effectiveness by using legendary quality. Wow, that's so clever. So you hit diminishing returns past 9 beacons with the new system, but it emphasizes using the new quality system they're adding as well. Sheesh. Difference that the code is made out of love and not money. It makes such a big difference. Huge, great big difference. This is why even if you do nothing but play World of Warcraft all day, every day, go play some other like little games that are made by smaller companies. Because when you step outside of the world of AAA stock market listed, you know, big dick publisher games, there's so much cool stuff out there. I was almost in tears to see how beautiful the values turn out. It takes a special kind of person to look at a graph and data sheet like this and be brought to tears. It's the ultimate goblin geekiness. If you like spreadsheets in WoW, go play Factorio. The change was surprisingly minor for existing factories. Machines affected by 8 beacons will still in fact perform 6% faster, whilst the machines with 12 beacons end up being 13% slower. That's amazing because it means the base game remains nearly the same. We get the buffs we've always wanted, and quality allows for even more progression. Using beacons actually feels impactful even if you just place a few of them. In Space Age, this is going to be especially important, as that is typically when you want to start increasing your production to launch a lot of rockets. Productivity modules decrease the machine's speed. With the old system, the first 2 beacons only get the machine back above 100% crafting speed. At that point, you consciously know that you made an upgrade thanks to the increased productivity, but it doesn't really feel as exciting as the perceived speed is roughly the same. Now, because a single beacon has 3 times the effect, that is more than enough to break through the negative effect of productivity, which feels much better. Pulling off two belts of copper coming in, straight into copper coils, direct insert into green chips. This 3-2 is the most common. Oh, hang on, this has only got quality 2 modules in it so far. Basic electronic circuit build, now with 24% productivity and 50% speed, with just a few beacons. In some situations, it's not about being able to afford beacons, but the building space is limited, so high effect beacons are a natural fit for places like space platforms. 2 quality 2 tier 3 efficiency beacons. Oh god, I can't wait for this expansion. I actually can't wait for this expansion. I'm more hyped for this than I am the new expansion for WoW. Maybe we need to do a Factorio week. Maybe we need a Factorio week. As a complete novelty, a single beacon with green modules can actually drop the energy of a machine significantly. This gets especially crazier with higher qualities as the beacon effect transmission increases. The efficiency module becomes more powerful and the beacon reduces its power draw with higher quality, so it's even worth it even more. All of the machines in the above screenshot have minus 80% energy consumption. That is huge. Got to be honest, I'm not looking forward to quality. I think it's I know that I'm of the opinion that the quality is going to make things sound more interesting to transition with, but I also suspect that quality will be something that you will quite quickly want to it'll be something that you'll want to overcome, I think, honestly, quite quickly. Just kind of like how a lot of people skip using Quality 1 and Quality 2 modules now, and in turn favor just going straight for Quality 3, even though that's really inefficient of a way to do it. I think the quality might be something that people are just like, right, we'll just... I can't quite figure out how to phrase this right, but I think it'll be something that people just try and brute force their way through. To brute force their way through it, to ignore it, at the sake of actually stuff taking longer. People who play Factorio also watch Excel World Championships. The thing that amazes me about people that do fancy shit in spreadsheets is all of the, like, like if you open Google Sheets, right? Everybody opens Google Sheets and they click, right? Imagine the same concept of being a clicker in WoW, right? You could click all of your buttons and all of your abilities in WoW, but it's very well understood that as soon as you start key binding stuff becomes easier. It's really funny when you see these fancy ass pros in Excel doing spreadsheet stuff. They don't touch their mouse. It's all keyboard shortcuts, like bouncing around. It's actually ridiculous. It's like the definition of geek level content, but it's just funny. It's just really funny. I just don't see how adding a quality marker on items is different to straight up this item is better than that item, start crafting this item instead. I think what quality will do in Factorio will stretch out and add variety to the mid game. The end game is still exactly the same. The end game, you're going to use best of everything and nothing else but the best of everything. But it stretches out the mid game a little bit. We've seen over the years that Factorio has now got to a point where the mid game is just something you burn through, and then you get to the end game really quickly, and then you just try and make things big, right? That's what they seem to be going away from. They're trying to make the core gameplay loop, instead of being like a 5-hour thing, if you know what you're doing, a 3-hour thing if you really know what you're doing, or a 10-hour thing if you're new to it. They're trying to make that initial core gameplay loop like 2 or 3 times as long. And I think quality sort of chunks it up a bit more and allows more step-by-step progression towards endgame without being able to do things like just skipping complete levels of things. But we'll see how it works out. Either way, I'm excited for it. As a complete novelty, blah, 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 blah. Space platforms can then choose to balance between crafting speed and power efficiency. Trading a few beacons for a machine next to one another is probably going to result in some new possibilities for UPS optimized builds as well. Oh, keeping direct insertion as high as possible. I love this new animation for these buildings. I love this. Me chip factories are going to do whirly things. Well, that's going to make me dizzy though. I like the animation. I might look for a mod that turns the animation off though. Instant feedback on that one. I'm going to get dizzy. Or at least slow down the spin. In my job, we laugh at the new grads that are using a mouse. I like it, make it go away. That's the way, right? Oh, that's cool. Don't want to see it, though. Conclusion. I've been annoying all of my surroundings, including Coverex, by constantly talking about the beacon mechanic on and off for 7 years now. It got to the point where if I brought it up, I'd get the reactions, oh, you with your beacons again. Oh, Ranthius is here talking about work orders. And frankly, I couldn't blame them. In the last month, I had already abandoned hope that we would ever implement this, as the expansion seems to be getting feature complete. But one day we were having the discussion and asked what would be the last feature he'd like to happen, replied with a single word, very excited, confident voice, beacons. The information I was missing that he'd already done some research with Boss Kid earlier and told me the code is basically ready for it. I was shocked in the most positive of manner. It took us a few days to have a working version and to find the right values. Values only took a few weeks, which is great considering the scope of the change. In 2.0, maximizing beacon count will still generally be good practice to have things producing quickly and save on computer performance. However, there will now be a lot more room for creativity, and with quality, return on investment comes into question more. In general, this can be regarded as a buff to beacons, which should help you progress quicker, especially in the early stages of the game, which again improves Space Age being less tedious and more interesting. Nice. Okay, that was a real distraction from anything I had planned to do. I, about 45 minutes ago now, seemed to have the mindset of drawing the stream to a close. Thank you all for joining today, boys and girls. I know we didn't really get up to too much specific this week, but as I said earlier, I'm even playing the game in a relatively chill fashion at the moment, as I know we've got some interesting, cool stuff to get our teeth in soon. TM. Second alpha turns up, we'll do nothing but jump on alpha. We got Panda Remix in a couple of weeks, but I might have sold myself on the possibility of playing another couple of games outside of WoW for a week or two, just to really sort of, put WoW down for a minute. We can come back to WoW when the good stuff starts up again. Because Season 4 is just, Season 4 is blast through. Season 4 is a day worth of content per week. I don't really have much desire to do it on too many alts as of right now. But yeah, it's all good. Enjoy your weekend, boys and girls. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun is out and summer is round the corner, so take advantage of it. Touch some grass. If not, enjoy whatever it is you're doing this weekend. I'm not going to even tease the opportunity of bonus streams this weekend because I don't think there's going to be any opportunity. So yeah, have yourselves a good weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Come say hi on the Discord. Press all the like buttons. Check for primes. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.